Welcome to MD Global Muscle Radio, brought to you by High-Tech Pharmaceuticals. And now, please welcome your hosts, Giles Thomas and AJ.
And welcome to MD Global Muscle Radio with me, your host, Giles Thomas, here at the Pump Media Studios, joined all the way from Norway, my co-host, AJ. AJ, episode 8, mate.
Fantastic. And the Dennis Wolf episode. Oof.
Yes, he was... that was more of a, I'd say, because obviously every single podcast we do, I find every intro, every interview we do is so different. And I felt that this was a real fan, a bodybuilding fan episode, wasn't it?
Fantastic. Dennis Wolf was like a hero for people in Europe.
Yeah.
So it was just so exciting getting me on. It was like, whoa, that's Dennis Wolf.
Yeah.
So it was a great interview, wasn't it?
Yeah, and like you said in the interview, you said it was, he's one of he's the top 5 all-time best European bodybuilders ever.
Give me 4 other Europeans.
Arnold.
Yes.
Arnold. I'm thinking more.
So we have Arnold.
Barry DeMay.
Okay.
William Bonac. Put me on the spot here.
Gunther was bigger than Barry DeMay.
Oh, what about your boy?
Gunther Slierkamp.
Bjecke.
There's many, but Gunther had a better career than Barry DeMay, though.
Well, Gunther and Marcus Rule, Germany, all Germany.
Gunther, only guy to ever beat Ronnie Coleman in peak.
2002 GNC show of strength.
I remember when I got my magazines back in those days, I read it. Oh, what a shock. Wasn't it a shock for you when you read the news?
Well, I had my press pass at the 2002 Mr. Olympia.
You were like 10 years old then, weren't you?
10 years old, yeah. Yes, and I remember when Gunther, because Gunther had been, I think he'd been 12th the year before, and he was always getting the special invite.
As he should.
Yeah, well, but thing is, the guy wasn't cracking top 10, so he was on no one's radar.
Fan favorite, though.
He comes in like literally close to, maybe 300 pounds, but I mean, he's like 6'2", wide, but he just looks sensational. He took 5th place at the Olympia that year, and I remember I was actually backstage. And I was right next to Joe Weider, Chris Cormier, Kevin Levrone.
Did you talk to Joe Weider?
Art Atwood. I said hello, but I just kind of not. I just bowed.
Yeah.
I bowed, and I kind of just to show respect. But that was the one and only time I saw Joe Weider. But Gunther was backstage, and obviously he had like Ronnie Coleman, Kevin Levrone. Kevin Levrone was practicing routine, and I was taking photos. It was fantastic, and there was so much going on backstage. It's one of those things where. It's very exciting. It's very exciting backstage. You're kind of missing out if you're a fan, really. But and when you got a press pass, you can literally just do what you want. So and Gunther had this. There was these like gymnasts or something. I don't know how I think they brought him out on stage at one point, and they were just flocking around Gunther. They loved him. They loved him. But let's go to the question you said you gave to Dennis. You said, okay, Gunther, Marcus Rule, and
Gunther, Marcus
and Dennis Wolf.
And Dennis Wolf.
Yeah,
who would win?
Yeah, who would win? Who do you think? Come on, think about it. Do you want to know mine? I think at his peak, I think like a 2014 Dennis Wolf would win. I think... it's
hard.
Because Marcus was huge, but... It did lack the detail.
Yeah, but when we talk about in his best, though, so let's say he had the detail in his.
Well, I thought the best version I ever saw of Marcus Rule was when he did one of his worst ever at the Olympia. I was at the 2001 Olympia, and he had one of those like herniated belly buttons, but he was in really good condition. He took 14th place. I mean, the crowd booed.
Yeah,
the crowd went crazy.
He was a fan favorite too.
Yeah, but then he came back in 2002, and he kind of had it fixed, and the condition wasn't as good, and he took 5th place.
Yeah, I remember that. No, Marcus Rule, man, what a the most freaky. More freaky than Rami, isn't he?
Oh yeah, easy.
The way you said you saw how quick you went. Chris, did you hear? He was like, like no, but the most. He has to be the most freaky bodybuilder of all time.
I mean, he's the one I've seen where people have been recoiled in horror. Literally, I remember I used to be at the shows like the British Grand Prix, and you'd come out and everyone just be shouting, and the atmosphere, it was like a real
pulsing to that
real down and dirty
devil music.
Devil music. No, it was a
Rammstein.
Rammstein, yeah.
If that's not devil music, what is it?
Van Felisanda. He actually, I'll tell you something. He actually went on stage with Rammstein once at a concert.
Rammstein.
He was
Marcus.
Because Rammstein are known for really like flamboyant,
Devil
really
music. Yeah.
devil music.
They're known for it.
Really, yeah. But they're absolutely like they're real showmen.
Okay.
And apparently, I don't know how it happened, but they brought Marcus out on stage, and he started posing.
Is that on YouTube?
I think we should have a search for that.
Yeah,
after
that
the,
sounds
after the
very
show.
cool.
How cool would that be? Do you know what? I'd have been losing my shit.
Yeah, even me would go there and watch that.
In fact, that would rival when I was at a Five Finger Death Punch concert,
Back
December 21st, 2017, and I was on Instagram Live, and who came on?
Five Finger. Oh, Phil Heath came on.
Yeah, Phil Heath came on.
I think he's trolling you with that.
He was
thing.
trolling me. No. He was because I thought, I can't, because I was at the concert with me and Rosie were getting on down and going nuts, and I think Got Your Six was on.
Rosie.
Got Your Six.
So what is this?
Oh, well, that's actually that needs a bit of a polish. Actually,
can you see it there, Chris? Do you see it in the camera?
On the microphone, please.
So that's Rookie of the Year award.
Yes,
that went to Rosie Hart. 2016.
Yes, that's my partner Rosie. That was something that was an amazing trip. That was because she's a women's physique pro. She turned pro at the end of 2011, won the Amateur Olympia straight firsts, and one of the Canadian judges said to me, she's top 5 Olympia. So I was like, right.
You got to go back, Giles. How did it feel when you were going to the Mr. Olympia 2016? You had your press passes for another company. Won't say the company, but you had press passes. She was doing
rhymes with pecs.
She was doing her debut, and you went on the plane. How did you feel?
Oh, it was so exciting, so exciting. But the thing is, obviously, I'd been at the Olympia, so she'd never even been to an Olympia. So I kind of was like guiding her through it, and I think it was just it was a really amazing experience. But I think the most exciting bit for me was, because, I mean, we were disappointed she didn't make top 10 because she didn't get to do a posing routine.
Oh, no.
And then, anyway, I think we went to the gala after dinner, and I was sat with, the men's physique, Arnold Classic winner, Ryan Terry. I think there was a few of us Brits. I think Flex Lewis might have been on the table with us. And me and Rosie had been up since like 3-4 o'clock that morning. She competed that day. We had some food and we're like, let's just go to bed. So we went to bed, and apparently that's when the awards started. Bob Chick got up on the mic and he was like, okay, let's do the all the awards. And obviously her name was called out, and I think Ryan Terry shouted, Giles and Rosie have gone to bed, Bob. And he was like, oh, okay. So anyway, cut long story short, the next morning, Rosie's in the bath, I'm fast asleep. And then she gets this, she goes, Giles, I think somebody's just said, I think I've won Rookie of the Year. And I was like a meerkat. Boing. I was like, what? Say what? I said, and I was literally on my phone ready to post on Facebook MD and everything. And she says, I says, get it confirmed, because I'm going to look a real dickhead if I post this and you are not, you haven't got it. So she confirmed, and then she got a message from Robin Chang. So Robin Chang says, yes.
Last year for Robin Chang, 2019?
No.
Robin Chang, isn't
it?
No.
I think he's still part of the.
Okay, so Don Solomon didn't.
No, I think they've got a different role.
Okay,
it's a completely different role. But Dan actually messaged me and he said, I think there's some confusion about what my role is.
Okay,
and maybe I'll find out, and maybe I'll find out, and I'll speak to him at the Arnold.
Yeah.
Anyway, yes. So Robin Chang says yes. He says, look, why don't you come down to the Superstar seminar on the Sunday morning?
I love those.
On the Sunday morning, and you can collect your award. We'll just give it to you. So we went down, sat down in the front row. We were there first, and I was chatting to Bob Chick. Cedric McMillan was there. And then in walks William Bonac, Phil Heath, Flex Lewis, Oksana. Grishna. You had Arash with Juliana. I'm trying to think of anybody else.
Are they together, by the way, Arash and Juliana?
I don't know. I believe they used to date.
Okay.
And then you had Sean Roden sat right on the end.
Oh.
It was funny because when Sean Roden, he got the mic and he says, he was going, I believe I should have won last year. And people were just like rolling their eyes. They were rolling their eyes. And
oh, you're dissing Sean Roden again?
I'm not dissing Sean Roden. No, we were like, oh, God, yeah, okay, whatever. And then, obviously...
And he won 2018?
Yeah, 2000. Well, 2 years later, obviously.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we're sat there, and then Bob, we're waiting for the seminar to start, and we're thinking, okay, well, we may as well watch the seminar. And then Bob says to Rosie, he says, go on, champ, get up on the table. So, and she's not
Get
even
up on the table. She's not going to do no dance routine now.
There's a table with all the pros, obviously, for the seminar.
I thought she was jumping on the table.
No. That's the old days. And, you throw me again.
Yeah.
And so anyway, but obviously,
Giles clubbing on the table to techno music and on MD. Yeah. It doesn't matter what it was on.
Never techno music.
House.
Yeah. Yeah.
So she went on the table.
Yes. So and what was I saying? Yes.
Bob chick.
Yeah. Anyway, yes. So, but obviously all the pros were in there, all the Olympia tracksuits, and she turned up in like a Minnie Mouse dress. So obviously she sat next to. I think she was sat in between Juliana and I think it was Cedric. I think it was.
Yeah.
So of course there's all these athletes, and there's Rosie sat with this. But yeah. So and we still didn't get the award because I think Robin forgot to bring it.
Oh, but. It's here though. That was count.
Well, I think, and then Robin actually came up to the room just as literally as we were leaving to go home, and then he gave it. So anyway, that's the story.
Who wins the best dresser award? Bob Chick, Liberace, or Ric Flair? Who would you give it to?
Oh, well, that's quite a choice.
That's quite a choice.
Well, Liberace's like dead, so
that doesn't matter. He's still in the. You can still vote for him.
Well, I think I like Bob's shoes. Bob's the only person who can.
That's not an answer. What's the answer? Who wins?
Oh, Bob.
Bob wins.
We love Bob.
Back to female bodybuilding, huh?
Yep.
What are we going to talk about?
What do you want to talk about? Well, you want to talk about female muscle.
Female muscle.
Yeah, Betty Ona's just.
Betty Ona on the MD boards.
He's
going all in. No, but as we said again before, maybe, but female bodybuilding, it's not as big following, but a strong following.
We were talking about this morning at the house. Yeah, it's very dedicated, and you get some passionate fans.
Yeah,
but it's funny because I honestly thought that was the end of female bodybuilding back in.
When did they stop having it at the Mr. Olympia contest? Do you remember?
I think it was around 2011, 2012.
That long ago?
Well, no, because they started women's physique 2012, so I would imagine 2011 would have been the last one, because I was at the 2010 Olympia, and that was when there's no disputing the
Iris
most.
Kyle.
Yeah, Iris Kyle. I mean,
should we show people
Yes. Oh yeah. Sorry, I'll get this.
For people that are listening, we're showing Iris Kyle now.
Oh, amazing.
So this is Iris Kyle for people watching.
Look at that. I mean, I don't think that's even her best. Now, I was at the 2010 Olympia, and it's funny because when you don't, unless
how much does he weigh?
I think she's
competes in at.
Do you know
170?
No, nothing, nowhere near.
No.
Do you know what? She's actually deceptively. I remember I saw her at the Arnold Classic at the airport, and she just competed.
Petite and small when you
and
see
she
her.
had like a tight top on and some tight leggings, and she was wheeling her little case, and I was like, that's Iris Kyle, because when you see her on stage. But she's actually, it's more her lines and her tie-ins. But at the 2010 Olympics, because I actually got some fantastic, I actually sent some photos to her. I had some fantastic pictures I took of her, if I do say so myself.
The most winning Mr. Olympia champion of all time, more than Ronnie Coleman and Lee Haney.
Yes.
10 titles?
I believe.
9?
Didn't she have, because it was open and then they used to have 2 divisions, didn't she?
Yeah.
She won the heavyweights a couple of times, and I think she got beat by...
Dating Hide Yamagishi, marrying Hide Yamagishi.
Are they married?
I don't know.
I'm sure. Yeah, they always see them together.
They're gonna have some good genetics in their kids.
Wow.
No, but she's the most winning, eh?
Yeah, I mean she's. But like I said, you had to see her at a peak to fully appreciate how good she was.
How would you rate her in if she competed in the men's? Could she compete against some men?
I don't know. It's just different structure. It's a different, you know. But she. I mean, like I said, 2010 Olympia when I saw her. Incredible, absolutely incredible, and she still holds good size now.
She still does. No, it's
really
impressive. No, I was just so impressed again when I was down in Romania, especially when I saw some.
Oh, she was there, wasn't she?
No, that was Linda Murray. Who
was
there.
Linda. Well, Linda's my all-time favorite.
It's your all-time favorite.
Yeah, I always go a bit. I go a bit shy around Linda.
Mushy in the knees.
My legs go. I do.
No,
I asked her. Did I tell you the story about the cheerleader outfit? Chris is nodding.
Have you told the story, or you want to tell it again?
Have I told the story before?
Have you told about the story before?
I think I might have said on the forums. Yeah, when I said
say it quick.
This was about 7-8 years ago at the Arnold, and I said I was chatting to Linda, and I says, why did you stop competing? Why didn't you keep competing? She goes, do you know what? She goes, if I didn't have an old knee injury, she said I probably would. And I was like, I says, oh well, how did you do that from squatting? She says, no, I got it before my bodybuilding days when I was a cheerleader. And of course, I had to ask her the obvious question, if she still had the outfit. And then I noticed the husband was...
Yeah, you told this story before.
Oh, sorry, okay.
Yes,
So apologies to the viewers, because I do sometimes repeat stories.
A question. You've been with Rosie for a long time. Did she look to these girls as role models growing up, or was it more the guys?
Well, Rosie, before she switched to women's physique, was actually she won the British finals in 2012 as a bodybuilder.
Okay.
And she was the smallest up there. And I was actually doing the play-by-play, 2012 UKBFF British finals. And I said on the play-by-play, she's either going to be clear first or she's going to be fifth. Because if you look in terms, she always reminded me like a female Lila Brada. You know, smaller, but when you actually analyze her physique and her, and her lines and her tie-ins and her detail, she's very, very good. You know, there was the other girls dwarfed her, but some had thick waist, some had conditioning issues, and obviously she's always been known for her presentation.
We got to get him some shout-outs, man. We got to give him some credit because the girl that I saw down there, Monique Jones.
Oh, check this out.
Check Monique Jones out.
Hang on, this girl's amazing. She is like to be honest, she's in the mold of Linda Murray.
Oh,
she's
man.
That's, to be honest,
woof.
That's not actually the best picture I've seen of her in terms of
it's
development.
not even, but it's like, whoa, like when I saw the classic in the men's physique down there.
Yeah.
To be honest, many people I was impressed with, of course.
Yeah.
The open in 212, obviously, tons. But she impressed me more than the men's physique and the classic guys.
Do you know what impressive?
By far.
Do you know why I say she reminds me of Iris Kyle? Because she hasn't just got size. The pictures I've seen for Romania, she's actually got very, very nice tie-ins, nice flow, small joints. She's actually, if you look at her from every angle, she's got a beautiful shape. Beautiful shape.
And
not just big. She's not bulky. She's got everything.
Our editor-in-chief, Ron Harris, is going to have her on online.
Yes.
So check that one out.
Yeah, I mean, did you spoke to her? You said she was really lovely. She's a really nice person.
Yeah, so we'll see. But a great bodybuilder.
Yeah.
It's nice to see them get some shot, not only just bikini and the bikini girls.
So correct. So the Romania, that qualifies her for the big one, doesn't it?
The Wings of Strength.
Who won that?
Rising.
Did she win that this year? The big one, like basically that's the new Olympia.
That was either Hella Trevino or that other girl called. It was not Hella Trevino. It was. Come on, the big girl from Europe.
Not Popper.
Yeah.
Oh, Alina Popper.
Paulina Popper, isn't it?
Alina Popper.
Yeah.
Alina Popper, before they stopped the Olympia, everyone kind of said, well, when Iris either starts to fade or she quits or she retires, Alina's going to be the one that steps up.
Big girl, feminine.
Oh, so good.
Looks very good facially also and huge.
She ticked every box.
So it's going to be her against Monique battling it out.
I'll tell you two of my favorites, female bodybuilders. Nicole Ball.
Oh, the huge girl, isn't she? Wasn't she a wrestler? And
I shouldn't be raising my eyebrows.
Why are you raising it?
No.
Are you raising your eyebrows?
No.
Don't you tell me about the story when you were 13 years old now.
No. We agreed not to talk about
No, we don't talk about that story.
Private.
Chris, we're going to do that on the finale.
Shit. No, I think I've told that story before as well, so I won't repeat the Nicole Ball one.
No, you never told me the huge wrestler bodybuilder girl.
No, Nicole Ball. She's not. I saw her at the Olympia. Me and Ron were walking back from TGI.
The blonde. She's a blonde.
No, she's dark haired.
No, that's not her. Then. Yeah.
So Nicole, but yeah, she's and she was in the casino. She was having some food with Johnny Jackson.
Oh.
Yeah, and I love Johnny. He's a great guy. So I stopped and had a talk to her, and I couldn't believe how amazing she still looked. She looked so healthy, so beautiful. She's still holding a lot of muscle, and she's amazing. So yeah, big shout out to Nicole Ball there.
Johnny Jackson. Who would, if you put him some Tom Platt legs on him, or on David Henry, who would win?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah, because both, I don't say they're lacking. We don't want to diss their legs, but I'm just saying, that's all the reason why they never. Because remember David Henry, he used to be open competitor, 212 competitor.
Yeah, David Henry. David Henry, I interviewed him at the 2011 Arnold Classic. Yeah, a little bit rude actually.
Which was a
little bit rude.
It's a little bit.
Yeah, it was fine once I got a few minutes in the interview, but he was making me work for it.
He's still working. He's still competing, David Henry.
Yeah, in fact, I want to give a shout out to Dave because
somebody said he was retired.
I've said this before. The 2016 Olympia, he took 5th place in the 212. I had him a clear second. I was booing.
You were booing.
You could hear me on the. You could probably hear me on the DVD booing because when I see, I'm really vocal. I'm like you when you were at the March 2 Bros Pro.
Oh, when Dobry.
When my partner Rosie, she was doing her last physique show, you come on stage. I said, AJ, you need to. You said, actually, I'm going to move away because you were being very vocal.
Well, that wasn't the Bros, not Romania. You're talking about Bros to Pros now.
The March 2 Bros Pro.
Yeah, when she got second.
Yeah, and you went, and I was like, I said, mate, we sat right behind the judges. I don't want to.
Who beat her?
Margita Zamalova. She's fantastic.
Has she done anything since? Did she go to the Olympia?
She did the Olympia.
How did that go?
Her condition was incredible.
But how did it go?
I don't think she placed that well. I was quite surprised actually because for me she was she was fantastic. But as soon as I saw her backstage, I was like, oh, she's Rosie's main competition.
Man, I forget all about you. I become a real fan of bodybuilding shows, you know? You don't care about politics then?
No.
You shout, you scream, you boo.
And my other shout out for female bodybuilders, Sheila Black.
Sheila Black?
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Your favorite?
Oh, well, she's one of my favorites, yeah.
So not Yaxina or when she was in the prime or... No?
Not from... Yeah, no? They're fantastic, but, you know, you have your own personal preference.
Sheila Black, but she's a little bit smaller, isn't she?
Yeah, but look at her shape and her proportions. She's amazing.
What about Rachel McLinish back in the day? That would be a bikini girl now, though.
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah,
she wouldn't be big enough for figure.
No, not at all.
No.
The figure girls some of them are huge.
Oh my God.
Huh?
And you know what, Yvette, it's funny because you'll go to different countries. I mean, I've covered pro shows all over the world. And it is like, I was at the 2012 Nordic Pro when it was with the Pro League.
That was in Finland?
Finland, yeah, run by, KPO Rama.
Finland, yeah.
And Gal Yates, Dorian Yates' wife. It was funny because I was supposed to be working with Dorian on the play-by-play. And tell
this story.
This is
Chris, each time he picks me up in the car to go here, he tells this story. He forgets he tells it.
Oh, really?
Tell it again.
I'm 42. I've got some I'm a little bit senile now.
It's about Dorian Yates.
Yeah, and I said to Dorian, because we was ready to do the play-by-play, because this is when I used to have to do it on a laptop. And I think Gal was walking on stage or whatever, and I went, Dorian, come on over. I says, you know, and he just went, I can't be bothered. And I was like, I said, so Simon Fan runs Ultimate Fitness. He's been a very successful show promoter. And he said, "Oh, come on, I'll help you out, Joel." So he kind of stepped in. But Gal won that one.
Looked great doing it also.
And she was, and it was obviously it's a pro lineup, and she won it clearly. But then she went to the Olympia that year and didn't even place. So it's different criterias work in different parts of the world. Like you'll get girls that are the more conditioned, bigger girls in certain types, and they tend to do better.
Minna Pajuati.
Who?
Minna Pajuati. That's a Finnish girl.
Okay.
Since we were in Finland now.
Okay.
Give a shout out to her. Great bench press record holder and you know the blonde Trish Stratus 2.0.
Okay. Well, if you want to talk about bench press records, why don't we talk about...
No, because before we talk about the bench press record, we're going back to something that's a little bit sad when you say Dorian didn't want to do the play-by-play. Because how much money did Mr. Steve Blackman has put into the sport?
Oh. A lot.
Put up, Steve.
Yeah. And this is...
Because without him, we wouldn't even be no MD.
Yeah, and this was... Oh, what's happening? Yes.
Don't show the private footage of your 13-year-old...
Hang on. Oh, I need to... Hang
confession.
On. Sorry, this is... I'm trying to do this with one... Yeah, this is...
So people know what we're talking about.
This is... This is the boss.
The boss.
The boss. This is the person that made this show. This was his idea, this show. Because I spoke to him. I've worked for Steve on and off since 2010. Steve reached out to me and gave me a lot of opportunity, and I'm always grateful for that. And it's funny, even though I've worked with him all those years, I never really actually spent much social time. Okay. I did in Miami at the Masters Olympia 2012. We got drunk on Malbec.
What is Malbec?
Oh, a very expensive red wine.
Oh. And I get drunk on red wine?
I didn't realize because I was like, yeah. And then I saw the bill and he went, oh, it's okay, guys. I was like, okay, sorry. I would have gone for a cheap one, you know. But I've never really spent much time. And then at the 2017 Olympia, because I was asked about 2 weeks before the Olympia to help cover the Olympia because Sean Ray had gone to work for GI, Generation 9. So he said, can you come and come? I said, yeah. So it was me, Ron, and obviously the team. Basically, it's the first time I'd ever actually spent any social time with Steve. You know, we were sort of working together. And I tell you what, if you can make it to the Arnold, I can't wait
Don't jinx it. Let's talk now.
Okay. Well, I can't wait for you to meet Steve. I can't wait for you to meet Steve. So he's
because he still writes for the magazine.
Yeah. But do you know what? Do you know one thing he's never lost?
The passion.
He's never lost the passion.
That's so good to hear, man.
I know, because you think about all the changes the industry's gone through.
And how much money did these guys? We don't want to go into names, but when people, how much money would? How much money would he, let's go in dollars, how much money did he sort out to the bodybuilders, let's say 8-9 years ago when it was at their peak?
Millions
a year.
Well, he did say to me once, he said, Giles, he said at one point, he says at the peak of, all the contracts and everything like that, he said, I had the highest payroll in the industry.
How much, let's say, for one bill, the bigger name bodybuilders?
Do you want to talk about that?
No, okay, maybe that's not. We shouldn't put out.
Well, you're talking 6 figures.
Wow.
And
they have to do what?
A phone call once a month. But obviously, I mean, it's the right to use their image. And the thing is, this was at a time when, I mean, contracts started, publishing contracts, all those big kind of exclusive contracts happened when Vince McMahon started the WBF in 1990. Well, the end of 91.
I love Vince McMahon.
Do you like it?
Oh,
well, you're a wrestling fan.
But everybody loves Vince McMahon. If you don't like Vince McMahon, you have no testosterone in your body.
Yeah. In fact, I was talking to Triple H actually.
All about the game.
And he was telling me, because I said, I don't know.
Have you seen how Vince McMahon looks today at 70?
Does he still look good? He was a big guy, wasn't he? Big guy.
Huge.
Didn't he? Was it him and Trump fighting in the ring once?
It was with your friend Bobby Ashley. It was Bobby.
Bobby Lashley.
Bobby Lashley had Trump on his side. And Vince McMahon had a guy who sadly died now called Umaga.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's funny how Trump was loved then. And then he was not racist and everything.
Oh,
but
really?
as soon as he wins, then he's the... No, so it was Vince McMahon, yeah.
Yeah.
He created the W...
Yes, so he created the WBF, which is like which created like a separate spin-off bodybuilding federation, which is non-IFBB. They created a magazine. And then that was what encouraged, Flex Magazine, MD, Muscle Mag, Iron Man, to start creating... Actually, I don't think Iron Man did, but about creating exclusive contracts for athletes. So... And that ran for a good 25 years, and it put a lot of income into the bodybuilders. Like I think was Tony Freeman, Johnny Jackson, guys like Brandon. I think they were like contracted to Muscle Mag and all these different magazines. And
so Steve went to get everybody in for him.
And Steve just like scooped up everyone. He threw everything at those guys, and that was. And
how is he at shows? Isn't he enthusiastic?
Oh, do you know what? It was funny because we were at the 2017 Olympia, and we when you go to the Meet the Olympians on the Thursday, it's there's some are down in the arena. And some are up around on the first floor, and they're kind of all scattered. There's tape. Every single pro athlete in the Olympia has their own table. They're all numbered. And I didn't realize how short the time of the window of opportunity was to get them. I thought we'd maybe have 2, 3, 4 hours. So I'm walking around. I think I did Rowley first. I did Jose Raymond, Josh Lenartowicz, and but Steve's like, "Come on, guys." He's really like revving us up, and he's literally running off. He's going, "Hey, I got Dave Henry. Do Dave Henry. Ron, do this guy." And it was like, I was like, "Oh God."
Remember when Christian Duque didn't know who Sean Roden was?
Oh. Yes, this was at the Arnold.
Oh no!
Do you want me to tell the story?
Tell the story.
This was at the Arnold.
Come on, Duque. Come on.
This was at the Arnold Classic last year because we all stay at the main hotel where Arnold Schwarzenegger stays. And Arnold, it's an 11-floor hotel, which I think was built for the Arnold Classic because it's Arnold has the 2 top floors to himself. Floors 10 and 11. You can't even get there with a proper room card, so it keeps the fans out.
The fans out.
But it's funny, yeah. So I think we'd gone back after. I think it was after the finals, and everyone goes back to the main restaurant. There's the couple of bars, and that's kind of one of the main hangouts. You just walk over the skywalk. And I was there with, in fact, a picture of Brandon Curry chokeholding me.
I wish we had that picture, man.
Oh, that picture.
The Brandon Curry chokehold you've seen before?
Yeah, there was Greg Valentino.
MD legend.
Sean Ray. There was
legend.
Steve, Ron. And then obviously we're over there, and Christian Duke's there.
Who is Christian Duke for people who don't know?
Who was he?
He used to work for MD and RX and everybody. He's with Iron Man Labs.
Yeah, he does. He's always got different things on the go. So anyway, and we're all there. Brandon Curry's there.
Curry, yeah.
So we're stood there, and then there's a guy sat down on a chair, just over the way. And so Christian Duke says, "Hey guys, can I get a picture of you all together? Me, Greg, Sean, not Sean, Steve, and everyone, Brandon." So he goes to this guy. He says, "Excuse me, sir, can you take?" Hands him his phone. He says, "Excuse me, sir, can you take a picture?"
and who was it?
Fucking Sean Roden.
It was Sean Roden.
Yeah.
And not only that, the week before on MD, Christian Duque made a long 10 minutes video about Sean Roden's going to win the Olympia. Remember?
Oh wow.
That was 2017.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
but if you tell, so your guy says he's going to win the Olympia, he doesn't even know who he is when he meets him, huh?
Yeah, I just don't think. I mean, we all
trolling, bro.
We could all see it was Sean. No, it was just funny. It's funny. And then Sean looks at us and he starts laughing, and then I said, Christian,
that's Roden.
Look at him. And he went, oh. He was like, "Oh my God, Sean, I love you, man." So
Roden has a good humor then.
Yeah, it was great. And then, but I think Sean's wife. I took the picture, but it was it was a very funny moment.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to Steve. So anyway, that night at the Olympia, at the Meet Olympians. I mean, and then we kind of banged out, I think it was like 12, 13 interviews in 90 minutes.
In 90 minutes.
But then I was doing an interview with Ricardo Correa, the 212.
The English, Brazilian, Portuguese.
He was in Portugal, moved to UK, and now he lives in Dubai with his girlfriend Nikki Chung, who's also a bikini pro.
Okay.
And because they like to keep the interview short, so they're easily.
Got a great accent, by the way, Ricardo.
Yeah, Ricardo. Well, maybe get Ricardo on the show. Actually,
that would be good. Great energy.
Yeah. So, what was I saying?
Steve.
Yeah. So anyway, now the Ricardo, because Ricardo he's like a wind-up toy. He's you just got to keep jumping in to kind of reel it in, because otherwise he'll talk forever. And so Steve's jumping up and down, getting all excited, and all of a sudden we finished the interview, looked around, and everyone had gone.
Oh no!
And I said, Steve, I was a bit like, okay, you're pushing us a bit hard, but I didn't realize how little time we had. So anyway, it was, and it was nice to spend some social time with him. And it's, you see, obviously I've worked in the supplement industry,
because he used to have twin labs with his dad, wasn't it?
Yes, his brother and his father. I was a self. That was at the late 80s, early 90s. That was the biggest supplement.
Can you imagine how many supplements we could have sold in the 90s and 80s? With we would have made it. If we had the money and we were in the... Woof!
We could have been here.
We could. Well, anyway.
Hey, if it wasn't for this bum knee, man, I could have gone pro.
So Twin Lab, they created it on themselves.
They started it in a garage.
Wow. And
it's obviously when you're spending time with him, and you get a couple of glasses of red wine, or having your food, and you're relaxing at the end of the night, and
steak is what he likes to eat, isn't it?
We ate a lot of turkey.
Okay.
Yeah, and honestly, the knowledge that guy has got. Yeah. I mean, it's just...
His articles he writes there is very scientific approach to everything.
Incredible.
And he's in great shape to be 60-something.
Well, I think his routine is like, I think he gets
tell the routine.
He gets up at something like his son told me this, Jordan, the videographer for MD.
Jordan Bleckman.
He always works with us at the Arnold and the Olympia. And he says, my dad's routine for like, how many 30 40 years or whatever it's been, he says he kind of gets up at like 5 a.m. he goes to the gym, and then he goes to the sauna, and then he goes to like a little coffee shop every single morning at say 6 7 o'clock in the morning, for the sake of argument. And he said he'll sit and read all the papers, all the published studies. So he's constantly updating his mind, and and sort of taking all that data in of supplements, nutrition. So it's...
Well, Steve, he doesn't like attention, really.
He hates it.
This is for you, Steve. This is my energy drink. This is your water. Give it to you. You gotta take the picture away, because he doesn't like too much attention.
Yeah, we're trying to get him on... I mean, he probably wouldn't come on our global radio. I'd love him to
he doesn't want to.
He's someone who likes to stay in the background. And do you know something that Peter McGough pointed out last year? Every year at the Arnold Classic, they have Arnold Schwarzenegger gives out it's like an annual award. He's
going to get one soon then.
A lifetime achievement.
That's going to be his.
And they've honored, Peter
McGough.
Yeah, Peter McGough.
He's gotten it.
Sylvester Stallone.
Stallone, yeah.
Big names in the industry. And Peter actually pointed out, he says, I think there's that Steve, with what he's contributed to the industry and what he's given and what he's still giving, that he should be next on the list.
Who you got? Sylvester Stallone, Van Damme, or Steven Seagal?
In what? A tickle fight?
In as best movies.
Well, it's not Steven Seagal, is it? It's not Seagal.
Who you got?
Sorry, Stallone?
Stallone, Van Damme, or Seagal? Forget about Seagal.
Well, I've
Take Seagal out. That's not even.
No. To be honest, I've never even watched the Steven Seagal film.
Arnold, Sylvester.
Oh,
and...
come on, that's not even fair.
No, it's not.
That's not even fair. No, to be honest, Van Damme. I mean, when I was a young kid,
you just love
blood sport.
The muscles from Brussels. What a nickname.
The old blood sport. I can still watch that now and still get excited. I mean, I used to think he was
the wrong bet. Was probably. I don't remember. Yeah,
but I thought he was huge.
Van Damme.
I thought he was massive.
55 kilos.
But he's still in good shape.
He's great. You're very smart.
Yeah.
And into this meditation that you're into, and healthy living, and he stopped all the recreational drugs.
Yes,
because he had a problem with that.
He did. Yes,
and now he's very So he's Van Damme. He's supposed to do the comeback fight, a real fight in Thailand.
No,
they've been promoting it for 3 years in Thailand.
No,
a kickboxing fight because
he
used to be actually a karate champion, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. He's still married to the female bodybuilder Gladys Portuguese.
No, not yet, is he?
They're still married.
Okay. But like many people in the entertainment, they always say they're going to do the comeback. Like a lot of bodybuilders. We don't want to mention names.
Oh, God.
We're going to do the comeback. And you did say it just to keep the sponsors happy.
One guy said a few years ago, he says, Giles, I'm giving you the exclusive here. He says, you're the first person I've told I'm making a comeback. And I think within about an hour, I had messages off people in the media saying, have you heard so-and-so's making a comeback? I went, I thought he was giving me exclusive.
Quick, back to the WBF, whatever you call it. What was it called again?
WBF, yeah.
Aaron Baker.
Oh.
Huh? Show him the swag champ. The most underrated bodybuilder of all time.
Bye, Steve.
Well, that's not Steve. It's not it. But
hang on. Oh, my God.
Oh, Aaron Baker. We're showing people a picture of Aaron Baker for people on SoundCloud. Google Aaron Baker.
Oh, of course, yeah, because obviously on iTunes it's an audio. We have a picture of 90s.
Chris, impressive.
AJ, would you say he's the most underrated pro of all time?
Oh, come on! And each contest he got. I don't want to go.
I tell you
what's going on with that.
I tell you his place. He was 12th in 1994 Olympia.
Too low.
He should have been 5th to 8th. 1995, he came in even better and got 9th place.
So it's even worse.
And
scandalous.
And he was. I would have had him ahead of Vince Taylor, who was 5th that year. So basically,
why did they punish him? Only because he went over, or
I don't know. I don't remember that one year in 1995 at the South Beach Pro Invitational. And I remember Flex Wheeler beat him, and I think that was when Flex was on his comeback after his neck injury. And I think Aaron, for me, absolutely destroyed him.
Because he never won any big shows, did he?
I don't think he won a single pro show.
How can this be? But seriously, how can this be?
No, he was so good. I mean, that rear double bicep, the thickness, and he was strong as well. I remember doing, see photos of him doing like 4 or 5 plates on incline Smith machine. It was crazy.
Aaron Baker, man. He's now seeing him what he's doing now. He's some type of how do you say evangelist? How do you say it?
Evangelist.
Yeah,
is he?
He's like a priest going around and
really
spreading the word of Jesus, as they say.
Oh, okay, that's noble.
Yeah.
I actually bumped into him at the 2002 Olympia. And I dragged him to the bar and I bought him a drink. And I said, purely out of respect, I want to buy you a drink because I was, I'm such a fan. I was, and I wanted to acknowledge the fact that he was. In my eyes, the most underrated pro of all time.
With the hair and the outfits and just a perfect all-round look.
He did a comeback, actually.
He did.
Is it the Iron Man? He had a shaved head.
Oh, no, that was a little bit... Yeah, it was different when he was shaved his head.
What year was that?
I don't remember, but I remember the pictures. It was a little bit surprising to see without the hair.
Yeah. Well, we all age, mate.
Yep, we do.
But I bet he still looks good.
Yeah. Also, he's doing the saving people lives now.
Yes,
so that's good. Giving back to the community.
Yes, it's nice. Yep. Yeah, it's nice to see the it's like the interview we did with Tony Freeman. It's nice to see they've kind of moved on to different things and they're happy when they. But do you know what I really like to see is when they still look back and like the sport.
Yeah,
like I bumped into Vince Taylor at the Arnold Classic.
He's got great energy for his age, huh?
He still looks
always
good.
Upbeat, creating fat grip. No, creating all this. He used to make those equipment for the gym. Remember?
Oh, okay.
He was always known for that.
He used to. I used to do a lot of cables for arms, and I was thinking, how can you get arms that big by using cables?
Yeah, well, you gotta squeeze and feel it now.
Yeah. I actually spent some time with Vince Taylor the day after he won the 1995 British Grand Prix, and that was the year Kevin Levrone. There was no Dorian because Kevin Levrone had come second in 90. This is the British Grand Prix, second in 92. Third in 93, second to Dorian in 94. So, of course, he was the favourite. Then Vince Taylor comes in, and it was a real... But I've actually got... Have you seen
one of the best posters of all time.
Have you seen the picture in my hallway?
Of course,
the
Vince
rear
Taylor.
bicep.
Did you ask about this today? You said that's 95 Vince Taylor.
Yeah, that was it. And Vince won that one. And I spent and I was at the hotel because I used to hang out with the pros. I was like 19 years old.
Go check his routines out for people who are a little bit younger. Vince Taylor, he made it. You remember we called out Lee Haney in his Olympia routine when he's the Terminator? Remember?
Oh yeah, that was a 1991 Olympia, Orlando, Florida.
He was like, Lee Haney, I'm gonna destroy you. And
yeah,
Sean Ray, wasn't it too?
Target identified.
Yeah. Oh, and my heroes stole it a little bit, but did it as good. King Kamali, remember?
Yeah.
He did it same as good as Winston. Yes, it was as good.
I saw
the peck dance and the. Remember?
2001 King Kamali was when he got third at the Ironman, incredible. And then I saw him get 10th at the Olympia, and I tell you what, he was one of the stars of that show.
King Kamali, man, what an entertainer!
You like him, don't you?
I love him. Yeah. Quick thing before we have to wrap it up. You used to compete. So what?
I don't think we've got the picture anymore, have we?
Yeah, no.
The picture, Chris? The picture you deleted anyway.
Because all these shows. What for you?
We'll talk about that another episode.
We talk about another episode.
Yeah, we'll talk about another episode.
Yeah, because how long we been going now, Chris?
40.
Yeah, because we got to have
5-10 minutes.
No, we got to use 5 minutes on who we're going to have on. We haven't even... Have we said who we... Because this is not AJ, Giles, Chris.
Damn, we're rookies.
This is the interview of the guys.
Yes,
so,
yes.
Yeah.
We've. Do you want? I tell you what. You always usually announce the show, but I'll announce the guest today. We've got a very good friend of mine, someone I've known many years, someone who's been a pro many years, and he's retired this year. End of last year. Jose Raymond,
Boston, Mass.
I'm really excited about that one.
I'm very excited.
Why are you excited about Jose?
Because I talked to him on the boards for many years. He's not only to talk to his story, but he has a great personality. So it's going to be fun to hear him speak for a while. But also, I remember him back in the day. We can talk about that when he's on.
Do you know why people like Jose? One of the reasons they are so popular.
Outspoken, honest.
That as well, but they're accessible.
Yeah.
They've never... You see, sometimes some people only post on forums or on certain social media platforms because they have to for their sponsors. They reluctantly do it. But when Jose has been always consistent with his... He's a mega fan of the sport, and I think he genuinely likes to interact with his fans. So why do you like Jose so much? Because he speaks his mind. He's honest. He has a good personality,
good heart.
But
it's also when I was younger. What can I say without disrespecting him? But a lot of people criticize him for his shape, like structurally, like it was.
Yeah, but you like taller bodybuilders because you're tall yourself.
But the way he just like transformed and got better and better and better and became the best top 3 the last 8 years.
Yep.
It's just so impressive, you know? And he's freaky. I like freaky guys.
Apart from the Olympia, he's won everything as a 212. And like Flex Lewis said at the press conference at the Olympia last year, he says him and Jose and David Henry were pioneers of the 202, which then in 2011 became the 212.
And he's got big balls because he did the open.
I've never seen his balls.
They're huge because he did the open. Remember when the few 212
Ferrigno.
He did the open. He wasn't afraid of doing. No, he did it also. Yeah,
he did Ferrigno. He got
fourth.
A fourth place in a very big lineup.
Yeah, so he's not afraid, and he's really a 222 guy, 202 guy.
Yeah, because he said
at 225, isn't it?
Yeah, he was. No, he struggled to make 212. But he said his physique. He preferred his physique when he was a 202.
So Jose Raymond is a legend.
Yeah.
So we're happy to have him on.
Yeah. And you know, one of the things I want to talk to him about is the one thing that always stick in my mind was his it wasn't his speech, but what he said at the press conference, which I think really counteracted a lot of the silliness that was going on and some of the immaturity that I didn't like at the press conference.
Yeah, to finish it off, because we gotta go, we gotta get Jose on. We have to.
Yeah.
People, interactive, Giles. What do you want to say? We get people to be more interactive with us.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Also, firstly, we really appreciate all the shares on your Insta stories, the likes, the shares on Instagram, because it really helps this show to grow.
It does.
It's like now we're on iTunes. This morning when I was... SoundCloud, Player FM,
Pandora box,
Pandora's box, Pandora,
YouTube.
I don't know what that is.
I have no idea, but it's there.
but yeah. So in fact, I'm really glad we're on iTunes as well, because on my, like I said, we are on iPhones. You have a podcast. It
just pops up, yeah.
It just pops up.
Wow.
So that's very cool.
So people go to either Giles Tiger Thomas Instagram.
Giles_Tiger. That's my Instagram handle. So feel free to DM me on there. And also, we do appreciate all feedback for the show. Like we're on episode 8 now, and I think even after a few episodes, we changed the format dramatically, didn't we?
So or AJ Kelly Robert, and that's R. Kelly's name. You know, R. Kelly's having a hard time now in the media, man.
Ooh.
R. Kelly, man. Oh, he's having a anyway. Go to our Instagrams or Pump Media Instagram, and ask us questions rather before on a Saturday or on a Sunday, because we usually do the shows Mondays and Tuesdays.
Throw them out anytime, because we'll have them. I'll write them down. We'll keep a note. But
give us questions there.
But not just questions, but
topics.
even viewer careful. But even things like guest requests. And things like that. So, like I said, if you want anything, you want us to ask any questions to the athletes or whoever we have on. So there you go.
Nathan Diasta, my Jamaican brother. Rise 2019, bro. Rise, bro.
Yeah, can't wait to see what Nathan's going to bring. Can't wait. So, yeah, so is there anything... Oh, and also, we're going to give a shout-out to one of our Instagram followers and viewers, Ricky Mac 85.
Oh, we almost... That's very important.
I've got it written down now. I don't forget nothing.
He's a bodybuilder who has a disability, but still competes.
Yeah. Yes, actually, you see, Rosie, my partner, she was at a gym. One of the gyms she works at, does some personal training. And she said, Ricky came up to her and said, he says, I didn't realize Giles was your partner. He says, because he talks about this Rosie, and then I went back and I searched his Instagram. I didn't realize that's your partner.
Ricky Mac.
Ricky Mac 85. So, yeah, thank you for all the support. And I saw your post on Instagram. And
saw his eyebrows too, bro. The English guys, you like doing your eyebrows, guys. It's popular, huh?
I don't do mine.
No, but great having him listening to the show.
Yeah, no, fantastic. We appreciate everything. And, yeah, I think so.
And Jamie the Giant is still backing you, bro.
Jamie the Giant, who says he won't...
Giant.
He says he won't compete and make his IFBB Pro debut until he steps on stage at 300 pounds.
It's going to be... That's what I like to hear.
Can I see your hands, please?
That's what I like to hear. 300 pounds. 300 pounds.
And he's only 3'2".
The Lou Ferrigno weight. Yeah, but that's it.
That's a lot of mass. Okay, we will be right back after the break with Jose, the Boston Mass Raymond, and we are out.
Yeah, buddy.
MD Global Muscle Radio is brought to you by High Tech Pharmaceuticals. Now, back to the show.
And welcome back to MD Global Muscle Radio here at the Pump Media Studios, joined by my co-host AJ, and we are joined by, for episode 8, Jose Raymond, the Boston Mass. Jose, how are you, mate?
I'm fabulous. Thank you very much for having me.
Good. Have you any time, mate? So, okay, where do we start?
Where do we start
with Jose?
Everything.
Everything. Go on, you go first.
So, Jose, it's an honor to finally speak to you. I've spoke to you a little bit on the boards before. So I'm very happy to finally speak to you. How do you feel now? How do you feel you're retired? How does it feel? It's the first time, like, how do you feel being retired?
Let me tell you, every year after show prep, after the Olympia or the Arnold, you go through kind of a post-show blues, like a little depression. You don't have that everyday grind, waking up with a purpose, crazy goal. So I went through that a little bit, but I have a lot of great things that I'm looking forward to. And you guys, hold on one second. I got a dog barking.
Yeah.
We had the same with Phil Heath with his dogs, didn't we? No, it's Tony Freeman, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Bloody dogs.
Okay. And I am scheduled for surgery in 3 weeks. February 7th, I go in for hip replacement.
A replacement?
Yeah. So I'm excited to get it done. I've been in pain for over 2 years and limping around, which is causing pain in my knees now. So, I can't wait to get it done. So that's my main focus. And then I will be training as if I'm getting ready for a show to come back from this thing, So I have a different mindset now. And I'm really excited. I haven't thought about training. I haven't trained at all since my last show.
Not at all?
No, I had like 2 workouts when I first got back, and it's basically been over 8 weeks since I've trained.
Oh.
I was even surprised to see you doing the Olympia, because obviously I knew about your hip problem back, I think it was back after the Arnold Classic.
Yeah.
So I think did you put it off or?
Yeah, exactly. I had MRI, X-rays, and everything at the beginning of the year, right after the Arnold. And my doctor said, "You're all done, buddy." He said, "You're really? Bone on bone." He's like, "I'm surprised you can even train." And I'm like, it's been painful, but my mind was so focused every year, day in and day out, that I'm used to pain, and I'm used to shoulders aching and knee pain, and I had knee surgery 2 years ago.
Oh wow!
And that was caused due to the hip. So, I said to the doctor, "I'm doing the Olympia." I committed to it, and I committed to a bunch of other shows. He's like, "Well, go do your best, but as soon as you're done, we got to get this replaced because you're going to be in a lot of pain."
How long are you going to be out for with that? Because I don't really know much about hip replacements. Because are you going to be fully mobile after that? Is it going to be a long, lengthy period of recovery?
Well, here's the thing. They do it a lot different than it used to be.
Right.
They're going to have me on my feet walking within 3 hours of surgery.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I'll probably need a crutch or a cane for a few days, but I'm getting it done Thursday. I plan to go back to work on Monday.
Oh, wow.
And, and obviously I won't be squatting or anything, but they'll have me doing light therapeutic things and moving it, working on my range of motion and things like that. That's hoping that everything goes well, that I have no clotting issues or anything like that. And I will be back to squatting within 6 months, I would say.
Is training going to obviously? Is training actually going to help your recovery?
Absolutely. That's why I can't wait to get back. And in my knowledge of my body, my own body, my knowledge of training, I will recover from this much faster than the average person. Because I know my body. I know where I can push and where I need to back off. And, so I look forward to being able to squat again. My brother had both hips replaced 2 years ago.
Oh, Tito, yeah.
Yeah, and he's now squatting 400 pounds and deadlifting 400 pounds.
Crazy.
Like, he's an animal.
So what causes the problems with your hips? I mean, I know it can hit anyone at any age, really. But what caused it? Was it just the years of heavy, intense training?
Well, it didn't help, that's for sure. But we were both born genetically with internally rotated femurs.
Right.
So that caused knee issues. It's crazy. We both had knee surgery, like to the day before we required hip surgery.
Oh, wow.
So both of our knees were shot because of the angle that our femurs were.
Yeah.
And, the doctor said you would have needed it by 60 years old, regardless if you ever lifted a weight or not.
Right.
But the heavy lifting through the years just, rushed the process.
Once it's done, though, is that done? Does it not? It's not like breast implants that need to be redone in a few years. Is that it? Once you've had it done the first time?
Well, they've done an amazing. They've come really far in the surgeries, where I may not need it done again. But even if I did, say 20 years, I'll still only be 64 years old. When that's when most people get them done for the first time. So I would rather have it done now and be pain-free for the next 20, 25 years
than
wait until I can't walk anymore.
Get it out the way. Yeah. So,
Right.
so what have you been up to since the Olympia? If you haven't been training, what's the kind of things you've been focusing on?
Just one question: will this be documented? Because Jose has a great YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Where you document a lot of things. Will this be your road to recovery? Will this be something you would share for our fans?
Yeah, 100%. You know,
Good.
I'll have footage of not during the surgery, but leading right up to it and coming out of it, and then obviously my journey to getting back to an elite type of physique. You know, I will never compete again, but I want to look like I could.
Is that definite?
Well, I mean, hey, if I come back and it feels like I'm 21 years old again, and I could bring a physique worthy of competing, then who knows? I doubt it, but I want to look like I can. That's for sure.
Yeah.
A YouTube channel is called for people who wanna. What's the YouTube channel called?
The Boston Mass.
Yeah, for people who wanna. Yeah, well, we're looking forward to see that.
Okay, Jose, let's go right back to your amateur days, because I don't think people realize, many people won't realize how long you've been competing for. Now, we were talking about Dexter Jackson, how much kind of body weight he put on from being like a bantamweight to being like a 230, 240 pounder. Why don't you tell us about your amateur days and, you know, how you progressed through those ranks?
Well, I did my first show in 1993 as a teenage lightweight. I was 150 pounds. You know, I've said it many times. I just love training. I trained as a sense of to burn off steam, you know, to get myself out of some trouble. I was always getting in fights and stuff. And then, you know, my brother convinced me to compete. And I'm like, you kidding me? I'm going to put on those little panties and get on.
Panties.
You know, so he convinced me to do it. I did it, and I won in front of a huge crowd. And it was the first time in my life that I felt, you know, I didn't have a quarterback that was throwing the ball to me. I didn't have other teammates that were, you know, it was me. It was all my hard work, and I got out of it what I put into it.
How old were you then? How old were you?
I was 18 when I did my first show.
Oh, 18.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. And I won. So I fell in love with that feeling. And it just grew from there. And I went on to do the teen nationals, and I placed second there. And you know, Craig Richardson.
Yeah. From New York.
He
New
won.
Jersey.
He won the overall that year. And then I went on and was doing the Team Universe, and I was getting my butt handed to me in the open division. I was only 20 years old, competing against Tricky Jackson and Chris Faldo. And
Chris Faldo, yeah, I remember him.
Great competitors. You know, my first year I did it with Kai Green. We were both 20 years old.
Oh, wow.
And he was nasty. The only difference was I came in 13th and Kai won.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah, he won the heavyweight class that year.
Well, you were 70 kilo then, surely, around that time?
Yeah, Tito was a middleweight. I was a lightweight.
70 kilo, yeah.
And he was winning. My brother won the Team Universe 3 times.
So you competed against your brother then?
Not until 2002, where I moved up to the middleweights that year. But yeah, I was getting beat up by these guys, and you know, they kind of took me under their wing. Guys like Tricky Jackson and Chris Faldo, and they saw something in me at a young age. They were like, "Don't be upset. You're gonna be something. You know, you got a great physique. You just need to, you know, reel it in and come in condition." And obviously, as time went on, I went on to win the USA's in 2000. That's when Bob Ciccarello won his pro card.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I could tell story after story with the guys that I've been in the overall with at national level.
Yeah.
Between, you know, Bob Chick and Phil Heath and Kai Green.
Oh,
and
wow. So you you didn't have to go back into when you were 212 or 202. You didn't have to do the open class to compete against these guys. You'd already done it many years before.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Probably with the same results too.
Yeah. So let's talk about how many times, I think, because you were offered your pro card, was it 2 or 3 times, and you just didn't want to take it?
Yeah. So I won nationals in 2001. Back then, you didn't get a pro card from winning the USAs. You do now. But so I won the USAs in 2000. I won the Nationals in 2001, which would have given me a pro card. But we didn't have a 202 or 212 or anything. That was the prime time of Ronnie Coleman and Jay Cutler. And they literally had over 100 pounds on me.
Yeah, literally.
Was it was really need for me to go to the pro ranks. Plus, I was only 25 years old, and I had no ambition or intention on using the supplements. And I was just a flag-flying natural bodybuilder. I wanted to prove that I could win at the highest level without any help, and I did just that. I went on, and then I moved up to welterweight.
That's 75 kilo, isn't it?
Yeah. So 165, and I won that as well. I won the USAs and Nationals. Yeah. And Team Universe.
Wow.
So that was 3 pro cards.
Sorry, I hope you don't mind me asking. You were natural at this point?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah.
Impressive.
Look at AJ knows. Yeah. Wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah. I was tiny, but shredded,
Yeah.
And I was always the biggest guy in the class because I would suck down. I probably could have went on stage at 175, but I went in at 165.
So you could have done the middleweight 80 kilos, but you chose to suck it down to the 75 and get absolutely shredded.
Exactly.
I've always said, with contest or in reviews or whatever, I say gear doesn't get you ripped, diet does. Hard prep does. I think that's the mistake that a lot of people make. Is there's no escaping proper hard dieting, and that's why sometimes the natural bodybuilders, the lighter bodybuilders, can do well in sort of classes like the 75 and the 80 kilos.
Oh yeah, some of my best condition was way back then.
Oh wow!
Some of the tightest I ever been was back then, and there was no other variables. It was just do your cardio, diet, and train. I didn't have to worry about anything else. Yeah. So it was easier in a sense.
How did you feel when you heard the news that the 202 or 198 pound class wasn't it?
210, wasn't it? In 2007.
Yeah. How did that make you feel then? Did it give you a new drive? Did it give you hope that you're gonna be like one of the best of all time in that class? And how did that make you feel when you first heard the news? Like, how do you react?
I was still an amateur, and I was doing nationals that year as a middleweight. So I was moving up to middleweights from welterweight. So in 2007 was the first year they had the lighter weight division, which was 210 at first.
Sylvia won it, didn't
he? I won nationals. So I had turned down 3 pro cards, and I won it again in 2007. So that was the 4th one. And that's when they had the division. And I said, you know what? I can do this. Now I have a reasonable outlet that I can compete against guys.
I didn't realize you turned pro so late. I thought you turned pro like it was a couple of years gap maybe. I didn't realize it was on the year that the class was created.
So you turned down 4 times.
Yeah.
Wow.
And Silvio was winning all the shows back then.
Yeah.
210.
And I just remember seeing, that was Flex and I turned pro the same year.
Yes.
And he was competing in there, and there's this new young kid coming in, and I was excited. There was names now. There was a whole slew of people that were getting attention and getting contracts, and we didn't have to be 250, 260. We had our own division, and in a sense, we were creating stars, within the bodybuilding industry. So I'm like, I can do this for sure. So I took my pro card, and I stupidly thought I could go in and keep doing it the way I was.
Okay.
I did the New York Pro my first year, and I was still clean, and I was 184 pounds on stage.
Wow, that's pretty.
I didn't realize.
Yeah.
And I still got spanked.
Where did you place there?
I was 7th my first year.
Well,
but it was a hell of a lineup. We had Eduardo, we had Kevin English, we had David Henry, we had Fakhri Mubarak was in that class.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
It was stacked.
And you were probably the only one that was drug-free also, weren't you?
Oh, and I looked it.
Oh, yeah.
And from that point on, I was like, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to I'm going to play by the rules. And, you know, within 3 months, I went from 7th there at 184 to 202 at the Atlantic City Pro, and I almost beat Flex.
I remember because I was in Wales with Neil Hill, because Zach Khan was going for his no, sorry, that was 2009. Sorry, completely wrong. No, I remember when that happened, when he took second. I remember when it was very close.
Yeah, that was 09. And,
sorry, that was 09. Sorry, that was 09. Yes, because I was in Wales. I was watching, and Flex was panicking because he didn't have Neil with him, because Neil was looking after Zach, and I was in Wales, and we were all watching it online. Yeah, and I was like, "Come on, Flex, you know." It was a really tight one. That was a.
It was a great show. I was pissed. I'm like, man, I can take this kid out. And, you know, I'll always look back to that. It doesn't matter if I thought I could beat him. That's what type of champion Flex is. That even he had stomach issues. I went to his room and poisoned him, and he still came out and won. And no, he blamed me. He said, I went to his room to use his microwave, and he's like, hey, mate, you did something to my microwave.
I remember because Neil was stressing because apparently he'd had stomach problems from switching from chicken to turkey or something that simple, and he was really panicking because it was the first time he didn't have Neil with him.
Yeah. So we both went on to the Olympia, you know, which was a huge thing for me. I placed 7th in New York. Then I went to Dallas. I placed 8th there. And then I went to Atlantic City and placed 2nd to Flex.
Wow.
Then we both went to the Olympia, and I was 6th. He was 5th.
Oh.
I remember.
Yeah. So I went to the Olympia and spanked a bunch of the people who had beaten me previously in the year.
Very satisfying.
Very satisfying. And I never was out of the top 5 again in the next 10 years.
What was the year? I mean,
but wasn't the beginning in the two? But weren't you competing? Were you on the main stage in the beginning when you started competing in the Olympia? Weren't you guys hidden in the back or something like that? I remember.
We were at the expo.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you something about that because at first, you know, all they paid was what, $15 to get into the expo.
Yeah.
So that place would go nuts.
Yeah.
It was so loud. We had a crazy fan base, and that's how we built up our fan base, was because they're like, wow, these guys are nuts, you know?
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we were allowed to, people were allowed to see us. They didn't have to pay $100 to come in. And then once they saw how loud the crowd went, then they moved us to the main stage.
What was that, 2008, 2009 they moved it?
In 1 year or 2 years? Did you...
No. It took, we were still in the Expo 2015.
Oh, no.
And if you go back and watch the prejudging, when me and Flex are on stage, or the year, even 2014, when it was me, Flex, and Eduardo, the crowd was so loud. And they knew at that point that we got to move these guys to the main stage.
So what was I remember probably your all-time, that's the one that's always burned into my mind, when you did the New York Pro, and you were 202, and your condition, I remember the vascularity. I knew that was a one-time thing. You know, when someone's that hard and that grainy and I just think that's hard. It's like, say, it's like Sean Roden at the Olympia on the Friday. You think, you can't top that. You cannot top that. What year was that? Was that around 2009? 2011. Oh, I didn't realize it was that late. Yeah, that was. Would you consider that, as when you were 202, to be your all-time freakiest look?
Probably.
It's crazy.
Well, I beat Flex that day, and
yes.
And that's why I say it, and I've said it over and over again. If they didn't move the weight class up and it was just 202, then I very well could have been a 7-time champion, not Flex Lewis. You know, because Flex is taller. He looked a little lankier at 202 than I would. He's got 3 inches on me. So when I'm jam-packed at that weight, he just can't be as big and as hard at that weight as I can.
Yeah.
But when you add 10 pounds to it, it makes a big difference.
Do you remember on the MD forums a few months ago, I came up with an idea, and I thought I was going to get some positive response for it, about moving it up to 222. I said, move it up to, maybe because some guys are struggling to make it down, like Flex Lewis and you know, Haddy and guys like Derek Lunsford, they're struggling to make it under 212. Why not move it up to 222? And then Jose came on and completely ripped into it.
Yeah, I remember.
Completely. He says, no. He says, if anything, it should be lowered back to 202 because that's when you said you preferred your physique. And like you've said now.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of guys do, like myself, David Henry.
Yes.
You know, David's pretty much untouchable at 202.
Yeah.
You know, because on stage, you know, he might say he's 210, but when he's dried out to the bone, he's more in the 202 area.
He's only about 200 pounds. He's a bit lighter than people realize, isn't he?
Right. I mean, he eats up to get some weight on him, but he would be unreal at 202. And, you know, it's just that the bigger, taller guys have an advantage at that higher weight class. And, you know, obviously I filled it out in 2015 when I was second to Flex. I was about, you know, 209 on stage, and I was jam-packed and obviously bigger and fuller. But that's when, like, it was getting harder for me to hold my stomach in check. It was getting harder for me to keep a more streamlined look. I was becoming just big everywhere. It didn't matter how conditioned I was starting to spill over. I like to refer to it as, you know, 15 pounds of shit in a 10-pound bag. It starts spilling out. There's nothing to do about it.
Do you know, I think I've been to many Olympias, but I think one of the best 212 lineups I've ever seen was at the British Grand Prix in 2012. It was you. It was Eduardo. It was William Bonac in fourth place. There was you in third. I think that, for me, is probably one of the best 212 lineups I've ever seen because I think they actually got better.
Bonac was in fourth.
Yeah, they got. I think they got better after the you know, the big shows. You know.
Yeah, it was. You'd have to say that was the best lineup because, for one, we were all peeled. It was crazy condition. We were all at our best. You know, obviously William put on 30, 40 pounds since then, but it was a great lineup of great names, all bringing their best.
I think you and Eduardo, I think you could not have been any leaner, any sharper. I remember it very, very vividly, you know?
Oh yeah, that was the show that I feel like I almost died in my hotel room. I had a major cramp in my hamstring the night before the show.
Oh God.
And I was screaming, and Guy was in the room next to me. So like 3 a.m, he runs in my room and starts punching my hamstring. You could see it like ball up.
Oh. And
if he wasn't there, I don't know what would have happened because I was locking up. My neck was locking up. Everything.
Oh, wow, cramps.
Because I had just flown. I had just flown from India and then came home and then went back on a plane to England. And I was just sucked out crazy from all the flying and dehydration. And so I was absolutely skinless at that show.
You were. I remember. It was amazing.
But a question. With the most bodybuilding fans have 212 class as a very exciting, the second most important class in all IFBB Pro. What's happened to the Arnold Classic? Why do you think it's gone from the Arnold Classic, the 212 class? And are you guys doing anything to get it back? Are you voicing your opinions? Are you contacting anybody? Or is there something, or is it just accepted and now it's over? Like, what's your opinion on this? Because it's very upsetting for many of us fans.
Well, it has nothing to do with Kamal, whoever wrote that article.
That's bullshit.
We don't have to say his name, but that's not true.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
No, not even close.
No.
What I've heard is, and I heard it a long time ago, was that they weren't getting top names. Now, the only person that wasn't doing the show was Flex.
Yeah.
You know, every other guy was doing it. You know, you had me, you had David. Eduardo was injured. Derek Lunsford didn't do it last year. But, you know, I mean, that was just one guy that didn't do it. So for me, it's like, how do you build names if they don't even invite you in the first place?
But if they're only inviting 10 and 7 turn up, why not invite 15? and then hopefully get 12 in the show, because there's only 7 in the Arnold Classic last year, and I was really disappointed because, you know, you want to see all the. I think it's nice to see new faces as well, not just inviting.
But it makes no sense to take it away.
I know.
That's why I know that Jose had some inside information of why, or if there's somebody, like, is there something going, like, what's going on?
I don't know. I think I just think it was a inside decision, and they probably regret it now because there is a lot of lashback, and you know. But in saying that, I think guys do need to compete more. I think you got to. There can only be one champ, and guess what? The year Flex Lewis won the Arnold Classic, he won the Olympia. So don't give me that you can't peak twice in a year.
That's true.
It's not like we're 290 pounds like Rami. Someone like Rami might have a tough time peaking twice, but you know the 212 guys should be able to peak 8 times a year. And I think they should be competing more, especially if you're going to get all your expenses paid for. You know, if they're paying for your flight and hotel and a stipend, man, there should have been 100 guys applying for that show.
Yeah.
And
wonder why that
you know, if they don't have a name, that's not their fault. You know, I just think there's some things that need to be changed. I think the people who make the decisions need to be changed. I think someone like Steve Weinberger, who is at every show and knows every athlete, he should be in charge of who competes and who doesn't.
Yeah, that would be smart.
Arnold Committee, because the Arnold Committee doesn't know everyone. You know, Jim Lormer doesn't know me from a hole in the wall.
Sure he does.
He knows you. He knows you.
He knows you.
But Steve does. Steve judges these guys from when they're amateurs. You know, it should be Steve. You know, Tim Gardner, guys like that. That should be the committee that decides who competes.
I liked what you said at the press conference, the Olympia press conference. You said about Steve Weinberger. I think when you came out and you got on the mic, I think it was when I think you were actually in your trunk because you weren't at the press conference. And you said about how you'd always gone to Steve Weinberger for advice on your physique because he would always tell you straight. And he made you, I think the words you used were, he made you a better bodybuilder because of his honesty.
Oh, 100%. You know, I've known Steve since I was 20 years old, and when I did the Team Universe, my first time, and he always gave it to me straight. And in fact, one year, and I thank him for this because this is really when my physique started turning the corner, was in 2010. I went to, I did the Orlando Europa.
Yep.
And I placed 3rd. Eduardo won, and I was 3rd. And he called me the next day, and he was like, "Hey, don't ever do that again." I'm like, "Do what?" He's like, "Don't show up like that." I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "You should be winning these shows."
Wow.
He's like, "You show up out of shape, you're gonna place where you place." You know, he's like, "You get in shape, you should be winning these shows." And I'm like, "Oh, all right, I appreciate that." And you know, he took it upon himself to go out of his way to tell me that. Like, you know, if you don't come in shape, I'm going to sit you down.
Yeah.
If you come in shape, you could be winning these shows.
Yeah.
So guess what? A few months later, I went down and I won the Tampa Pro. And then a week later, I won the Hartford Pro.
All right.
So I won 2 shows in a matter of 8 days. And that was only a few months after he had a talk with me.
Fantastic.
And it changed the course of my career.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, if Steve, the #1 guy, thinks that highly of my physique, then I must have something going here, and I got to keep it rolling.
Gave you
and
belief.
And that's exactly what happened.
Let's talk about, I think the one show you've done that's probably created, there's been more talk and more opinion and controversy around it, was the 2017 Korean Pro.
Just before that, just one question. Where's Eduardo being? I haven't seen him in a long time. Is he?
Tore his tricep.
Okay, so he's okay. He's injured. He's out for good, or?
Yeah, no. He had surgery and he's on his way back, and he's competing this year.
Oh.
Yeah,
yes.
He tore. I think he's torn both triceps, both biceps, and you know, he was really not recovering for a while, and now he's finally feeling better. and he'll be back, and he'll be nasty.
Oh wow! I mean, Eduardo's one of those guys. Condition. I mean, it's just incredible. Yes, let's talk about Korea 2017 because some people said you should have won. Some people said Hadi should have won, and there was a lot of heat going on backstage, a lot of drama. I remember Flex contacting me, and obviously there was a lot of
some fighting backstage.
There was some, there was some upsetting sort of stuff on his Instagram. Tell us about that show because that was a show that I think I wish I'd gone to. I wish I'd gone to it.
Oh, it was awesome. It was awesome. That was probably the worst version of Flex that I'd seen.
Oh, really?
In a while.
Right. He was off, wasn't he?
He had trouble filling up after the Olympia. For him to suck down into the class and then have a few days to fill up and then only a few days to make weight again. And he didn't have his team of people there to, make sure he was doing it the right way. So it was just a flatter look for Flex.
Yeah.
And Hadi was full blown, but at the time he was kind of not as sharp as he proved he could be. His waist was a little bit. He just was having trouble with the waist, and I was close to one of my best as far as being as full and as hard, and my posing in particular was at its best.
Okay.
And so the pitches that you'd see, you could make an argument and say, how do you not have Jose winning,
Well, Chris Griffin, Goon, he's always, he's so easily triggered.
He points that out.
Yeah, he's like, no, I think you'll find that Jose should have won that one, not Hadi or Flex.
Yeah, well, he's not alone. There were a lot of people. And, I'm not going to say, I wouldn't have a problem had I won it,
No, funny that.
And to be honest, I wouldn't have had a problem if Hadi won. I wouldn't. And Flex is Flex, and that goes back to what I said about him in 2009. Real, true champions, the one percenters, they know how to win, even when they're not at their best. Even when he knows how to present this air of a champion where you can't root against them. And when it comes to something like bodybuilding, where there's not a touchdown to be scored or a knockout to be, their minds can be swayed because this guy is a champion from the way he transitions from one pose to the next, from the way he walks on the stage, the way he looks everybody in the eye, the way he commands the stage. He won that by being a champion. He didn't have the best physique that day, but he won that because he was the best bodybuilder.
He did the Arnold Schwarzenegger thing.
Yeah. Sergio, let's go off stage.
That's Arnold, and that's what makes Flex.
Yeah.
I feel I should have beaten him a few times through the years, but after I got to settle down and think about it hard enough, I'm like, he's a champion. He's a champion's champion, and he knows how to win. So I can't argue with it. He knows how to present himself as the best on that stage, even if he's not.
Gonna check
but when you went against Flex over the years, did you go into the prep thinking you could really beat him in your heart, or did you go in thinking, I hope he's off and then I'll take him? Or did you really believe you could take him? How was your mindset the last 4 or 5 years going against Flex? Like, did you really believe you could take him out, or did you do it and hope he would come in off and then you will take him out?
So the only year that I came to terms with it was this year.
Oh,
I'm like, I'm training with one leg. I have a hip that needs to be replaced in a few months, and Flex is 9 years younger than me, and I remember 9 years ago I could squat a house and then go run 10 miles, and I knew that he was going to be at his best because I knew it was going to be his last, and I knew that me making top 5 was going to be a great accomplishment because I really couldn't train. I couldn't do what it takes to be the best. I brought the best version that I could possibly bring, but I knew that I wasn't going to be in the hunt with Flex, but I knew that I could possibly beat everyone else.
Yeah.
My goal was to get a shot at standing next to Flex. Because every year since my first year, I got to stand next to him. You know, we have such a bond that you know, a lot of people don't know how often we talk and how much he's meant to me in my career, and vice versa. You know, he knows how hard I've tried to push him and support him through the years. So my goal is just to get a call out next to him and hold off the young bucks and to beat as many guys as I could and be in that first call out.
You get sometimes with some of the competitors and they say, oh, we're good friends, and then you kind of see through what they say and how they act. They're not really friends, but you and Flex, you know, you are genuine friends. In fact, that's why I was checking my phone, because Flex said he's going to send a couple of questions through. Actually, I've kind of spoiled the surprise there.
But a little bit, this Olympia was now. Were you a little bit surprised about the hype some of the newer guys were getting, and the lack of hype that you are a proven veteran? This was your last Olympia. Because me as a fan, I don't want to mention them. You can do it if you want. But some people got all the hype going in, and they're not proven that much yet. And you proven so much, and they get all the hype going in, and it was like build up like a Flex versus this other guy type of. Didn't it disappoint you a little bit? And also, where did you have Kamal beating Lunsford, or do you agree with the placement?
So,
okay.
I have nothing to lose. I'm not getting on stage anymore, so I'm not going to get judged. So I'm going to speak my mind.
Don't be a fanboy now. Don't be a fanboy.
I've always spoke my mind, regardless. That is what I was upset about. And I was very vocal this whole year about the hype and about the overhyping of Derek, because I knew it was going to happen. I knew he was going to end up second next to Flex. And for my money, sure, he's got a beautiful physique.
Great physique.
Beautiful.
Fantastic.
Tons of potential. But I don't think he was ready to be second this year. I wouldn't have had him maybe fifth, honestly. And that's not, he's a good kid, you know. It's not his fault where he placed. He's probably going to be upset I say that. Nobody likes their physique to be talked about, you know. But I would have had Kamal or myself in second. I would have probably had Kamal because he's that good, but I didn't really get a good comparison with him. So
I had you third, Jose. I had you third.
Who did you have fourth then?
And I had you second in two.
With that.
I had you second. Sorry, this is going off another subject. And I had you clear second in 2017.
So who did you have fourth then?
I would have had David Henry.
David Henry. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. I would have had David, and then I would have had Kamal.
Where about Ashkenani?
Oof.
Well, sixth. That has to be sixth.
He's huge, but he wasn't in shape at all.
Yeah, he was
like at all. You know, he was huge and impressive, but I think something was wrong where he just wasn't in shape.
Well, I saw you at the Arnold Classic earlier in the year, and that's the first time I've ever seen you really off. And you took fifth place. You got placed accordingly. You know, it's like when you're on, you get placed well. When you're off, you can expect to get your ass handed to you.
But it's just a little bit as a, what can I say, as a fanboy of the sport, as a historian of the sport. It was just like, this is your last Olympia, and they're hyping this guy up so much. And clearly, it was not a clear second place. But the way they judged it and the way they talked about it on the, it was like it was too much.
Yeah, well, that's why I was so upset about it. That's why a lot of us were upset about it.
Yeah,
it was because we knew that was going to end up being the outcome.
Oh wow!
And it happened.
Yeah, I wasn't upset that he was getting publicity because he deserves it.
Yeah.
He's a great young, up and coming, good looking, great physique. But they pushed it. They pushed it too far too soon, and you know, I mean, if you're going to put him next to Flex, it was like night and day. It was like a man next to a child. It wasn't even close. I think if you put Kamal next to Flex, it was a little more of a contest there.
I said after the wrap up at the 2017 Olympia, when Derek Lunsford took 5th in 2017, I said, look, this guy he will be a 212 Mr. Olympia someday. But I thought maybe 2-3 years in the future, because obviously we didn't know then that Flex Lewis was going to stop doing the 212. You know?
It's a little bit sad that you can't, what can I say the obvious without be calling a hater, because we're not haters on him, because he's what the IFBB Pro League needs. You know, he's the young, good looking. He's fantastic. But when even Ron Harris kept pushing him over, Jose. You remember you and Ron Harris had a little debate about this, remember?
Oh yeah. I love ragging on Ron.
Yeah.
Because Ron, when you say it to him, he'll sit back and think like, okay, I get what you're saying. You know, I understand. So I like busting his balls, because he won't fight back with me. He'll think about it. We've been friends forever. Like, I'm going to tell him straight, and he would tell me straight, you know? But it was just pushing it too far, too soon. He's going to be great. He's still just a baby. And, you know, I would have liked to seen him. And I'm not saying the pay your dues thing. I'm saying there were guys that I would have put in front of him. That's all. And don't be surprised next year if there's some new guys that will come in and beat him. If he comes back, mark my words, if he comes back exactly like he did this year, he is not going to win. He is not going to win. You may have someone like a Dwayne Quamina come up out of nowhere.
He's coming up fast. That guy's coming up fast.
Dwayne Quamina.
Dwayne has everything it takes when he nails it.
What about? Sorry, go on.
But one thing about Dwayne, though, Jose, you have to teach him a little bit. You have to teach him about some things Dwayne says, because I'm a Dwayne fan. I really like him. I really think he's the wave of the future. But he has a way to say things on in social media leading up to the show that's not always favorable for his. You know, he says things that are. You know, he and Derek Lunsford had a lot of beef going into the Mr. Olympia.
Oh, yeah.
And it's maybe too much. Maybe he should focus on himself, because now we know his name. Maybe he should. You have to mentor him, Jose.
Well, I tried. And
you tried?
If you watch my series in China, you see me pull him aside. Yeah. And we spoke, and I gave him a lot of advice, and he took it to heart. And even at the Olympia, before they announced us on stage, I was backstage with him, and I was kind of rubbing it in, because I had said to him, I said, the only way you're going to get to stand next to me at the Olympia is because our names are in alphabetical order. And after the call-outs, and he wasn't anywhere near me, because he kept posting pictures, comparisons of me and him, and he's saying, I'll smoke Jose, he's got nothing. And I was smiling at him. I'm like, see what I told you? I'm like, you just got to let your body do the talking. I'm like, you don't got to call out people. No more of that. I go, because mark my words, you got a great physique and you got great potential. But if you can just shut up for long enough, let people, root for you, you're going to be fine. And then when we were in Japan together, I had another talk with him, and he took it to heart. He knew that I wasn't.
Sorry, when you say took it to heart, in a good way or a bad way?
In a good way.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, so I thought you meant
really
in a negative way.
It, that I took the time to. Cool. Here's an example. We were at like a expo setup, selling our merchandise and whatnot, and he was standing behind the table, just kind of flicking his thumbs, and I was standing in front of the table, greeting everyone, hugging people, shaking hands. And I said to him, I'm like, dude, what are you doing back there? You haven't sold anything. You're just standing there. I said, come out front so people don't think you're hiding from them. Once he came out, everyone started taking pictures with him, and he had his shirt off and he's posing. And he's like, thank you for the advice. And, I'm like, I don't say things to bust your balls or to be a hater or anything like that. I say it because I want you to be your best. and I want you to present the best version of yourself, not talking shit to people.
Well, I mean, he's a rookie. You're a veteran. I mean, I'm really happy to hear that he took it to heart in a good way, and he's kind of took it on board because I think he is really, really good and has crazy. I speak to Dwayne quite frequently, back and forth. Yeah, and it's I like him. I like him.
Who else do you have?
I was going to ask that.
Who else do you have in the 212 class that you're looking a little bit more into? Who else do you have?
There's one guy that I'm praying, and I'm going to call him and tell him that he gets back on stage, is Seth Feroce.
Oh,
if
wow.
Seth can get on stage, he's someone who can change everything. Because
Seth
Feroce.
Will he still make 212? Would he still make 212 though? Because I know he went massive. He went like to 220, 230, didn't he?
He's
yeah, he can make it. He
really?
can
Yeah,
make it.
of course he can make it.
I thought he went.
No, he hasn't competed in a while.
I know.
He's got a very similar physique to Lunsford, only bigger and bubblier and harder. So he's a guy, he pulls a vacuum. He's got a huge wide lats and big round legs.
When did he compete last?
5 years ago.
Probably 4 or 5 years ago.
I think he had some problems with some protocols, and I think it caused a few problems.
The last time he competed, he was 202.
Okay.
Oh, 202, bloody hell.
Yeah, so it might be longer than 5 years.
Let's talk about two names. What's your take on Kamal and obviously how he came from, seemingly came from nowhere last year, you know? What was that like?
One, he's just such a great guy. He's a gentleman. He's just awesome, so respectful that you can't help but root for him. Two, he's got condition that obviously he suffered and worked hard, but it's not a suffering type of condition. That's genetic. The way the muscles wrap around, the skin wraps around the muscle, the way his tie-ins are and everything is, he creates a really crazy look. And his only thing that could stop him is his age. Is that how much more at 46 to 47 can he get better than what he had this year?
He was 205 at the Olympia, so there's a guy that conceivably could, if he wanted to come in a little bit fuller and a bit more developed, do you think he could win the Olympia this year? 212?
Sure. Flex isn't there, and I had him second last year, so why not?
Yeah.
He's certainly. He's got everything it takes. My only thing would be that I know that from 1 year can make a big difference.
Yeah.
As you're reaching your plateau. So, we never know. Someone like Samir Trudy.
Oh, he's good.
He's got detail. He's detail.
Right. If he gets hard, his shape is unbelievable. He's very round. David Henry. David Henry's another one.
Still.
Yeah. If he comes in 100%, because his upper body is pretty much unmatchable.
Incredible.
If he can make even 1% improvement with his legs or how he presents his legs, or just come in so nasty sharp that, it's undeniable. I just hope he doesn't try to come in heavier.
Yeah.
It never helps. Like I would rather see him at 202, peeled out of his mind, and that would be his best opportunity.
What about Sean Clarida?
Sean is good.
Moving up.
He's really good, but he's just still really short. Like
when Jose calls you short.
Yeah. Wow.
You're short.
You're short if I'm calling you short.
Yeah.
Put it this way. I'm 5'3" and change.
Okay.
And I sky over him. He likes to say he's 5'2" or whatever. I'd bet he's not more than 5 foot on the button.
Maybe in high heels.
Yeah. But his physique is like a little cartoon. It's crazy. So, in the right lineup, if everyone else is off and he's 100%, sure, he could win. But there's a lot of physiques out there that are, 5-6 inches taller than him, and it just, unfortunately, because I feel his pain, You know, you put me next to Flex, he looks 6 inches taller than me. And he's only 3 inches taller. Imagine if you really are 6 inches taller.
Yeah.
It's hard to compare someone that short. It's like me standing next to Dennis Wolf. You won't even see me.
Let's talk about the time. I know exactly what you want me to ask. What about the time you did the open class at the Ferrigno? Was it the end of 2017 in November?
That's a prime example where I suffered because I was so short.
Right. So what was the reasoning behind wanting to do an open when you were doing so well in the 212?
That particular show was because my wife wanted to compete in that show.
Oh, okay, okay.
And it didn't have a 212, so I went and did it. and I did very well. And I think you could easily make an argument of me placing higher in that show.
Did you manipulate did you sort of, did you just go in as you were? Did you not even know what you weighed? Or was
who did you beat? Give us some good names you beat that day.
Brad Rowe?
In the open.
Brad Rowe?
Yeah, I beat Brad.
You beat
Rowe.
Brad?
I don't even know. There was some big dudes.
Yeah, I know.
Now I'll tell you this one though. When I placed second at the Europa Phoenix in the Open, I beat a lot
hang on, when was this?
That was a good show. Second place.
This? I don't remember this.
That was 2015.
I got no recollection of that.
He got second. He almost won.
Oh wow!
I was second to Lucas.
Lucas Osladl.
Yeah. And I beat Kuklo.
He beat Kuklo?
Why don't I remember this?
Yeah. You were probably on something else.
Yeah. I was like...
I was healed. Yeah. And the funny thing is people were like, oh, my God, this is great. Jose came in at 220. He looked crazy. When the fact of the matter is I was only 203.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I was peeled. And condition trumps everything, you know?
Yeah.
And to be 5'3", 203, that's a big dude, you know, especially when it's peeled.
Because Kuklo is a big guy, huh?
Huge.
The two guys that I beat that day were, like, Kuklo was like 6 feet, 280.
Yeah.
You had Vitaly Fativ.
Yeah.
He was first, and he was, like, huge.
Like 280 or something, isn't he?
He was huge, yeah.
Yeah. And I beat that guy. I have a picture of me in between those two guys, and I literally look like I look like the trophy standing in between them.
Were you proud that day, beating all them big? Was that one of your best moments, beating them guys? Because that's a pretty huge feat.
For sure, you know, that was something that I always wanted to prove, was that I wasn't just a 202 or 212. I was a bodybuilder. You know, I wanted to be considered one of the best, period, not one of the best 202 guys. I wanted to compete in good lineups and show that I could stand with anyone, you know. And that day was a lot like the same reason I competed in the Ferrigno, because I wanted to compete with my wife, was that I promised Dusty Hanshaw that I would do his first show. So that was his first show. And I went there, I stayed with him and did the show with him. And I ended up beating him. I'm like, you sure you want me to come?
Fantastic.
Yeah. Michaela Raymond, isn't it? It's your wife?
Yeah, Michaela.
Yeah, she always overlooked in the bikini class.
Which is good.
Always
Overlooked in the bikini. I don't know what's going on.
Why is that?
I don't know. I have no idea.
They like, well, it depends on the show, but they often like the thinner. Yeah, she's got a lot of muscle.
She's got muscle. They don't. The bikini in the last 2 years has gone almost to like zero muscle.
Right.
Like, you have to weigh under 100 pounds, or you're not going to do anything.
When I think of bikini, I think of booty and roundness and, you know, a girl in a bikini.
Yeah.
I don't want to see a 12-year-old girl in a bikini. I want to see a woman.
Amanda Latona, 2010. Natalia Mello, 2012. That's what I see as bikini. Like a little bit of muscle, a bit of shape, a bit of roundness, a bit of booty.
Just one question about the Mr. Olympia. How did you feel? Did you ever see Sean Roden winning? And how was the backstage after Phil lost? We hear a lot of people are Phil Heat haters, as we say. How was the feel backstage when Roden won? Were you guys like? How was the feel? How was the mood? Was it? Were you like? How did the other bodybuilders take it after the thing? And what is your opinion on it?
Well, number one, I love Phil. I think Phil's a great dude. I've known Phil for a long time. I was in the overall with him in '05 at the USA's.
Oh, wow.
You were?
And,
yeah, 2005.
You know, it's funny. On my birthday this past December, a couple weeks ago, Phil sent me a picture from the '05 USA.
Fantastic.
Wow.
Yeah. And,
Wow.
you know, he's a great dude. He's often misunderstood.
That's how we feel, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And his physique is nuts. I mean, yeah, his hernia is an issue. But here's the thing. If we never heard of Phil Heath and he wasn't a 7-time champ and he came out of the woodwork and looked the way he looked, I think he would have won, or he could have won.
Really?
You know, the fact that we've seen him better, you know what I mean? He's being judged off previous performances.
Yeah.
It's not like he was awful.
No.
It's just, I think it was a lot closer than people think. And he catches a lot of shit that I don't think he deserves to you know?
That's good to hear. That's good to hear.
That being said, I have the same nutritionist as Rose. So I was getting sneak pics every week leading up to the show.
Yeah.
Like Chris would send me this. What do you think of this? I'm like, wow, something's different. That's what I kept saying. Something is different. I'm like, is he finally training hard or something?
Rolling. Yeah.
Yeah. And he had a graininess to him that he's never had. He's always been pretty. He's always been separated, always been sharp, but he's never been grainy. Like he's got splinters and veins in his shoulders. And I saw that like a month before the show. I'm like, there's something different, Chris. He must be training harder or something.
Well, he didn't have the injuries, did he? And I know he had the broke the jaw the year before. So obviously he was kind of going in. I don't know. Maybe he had a lot.
Is that psycho fitness guy?
Yeah.
Really motivational.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he just, I think, as your back is put in a corner, as you get older and your window is closing, your level of intensity, and you know that it's coming to an end. It's either now or never. And I think that hit Sean. I think he finally put it all together, and I'm not sure anyone could ever replicate what he did. I don't think he can replicate it. I love the guy, and I love Chris, and Chris will probably yell at me for saying that, but I just think that was a lightning struck. He got struck by lightning. And man, I'd love to see him do it again, but he's got a tough task ahead of him.
Who do you, if Sean doesn't bring what he say brought on the Friday night, because I said on the Friday on the wrap up with Ron Harris, I said he's not going to be able to even maintain that for the Saturday. I said, but maybe he's done enough to win, because on the Friday it's like you said, like you did when you did that New York Pro, you just peaked that one time. You just knew that was absolute perfection. So if he can't replicate that, who do you think will be his main competition at the Olympia this year? Biggest competition?
Well, if Rolly keeps going in the direction that he's heading, then he can do it. The one thing people forget about too is that Rolly's not young. Rolly's in his 40s.
He's 40
and
years.
You know, it's like you're one bad form exercise away from it all ending. So you know, to train as hard as you have to train to be the best in the world, you have to be right on the edge of danger every day. And it's really hard to do that forever. So, I mean, I hope that Rolly can keep it going and be able to bring what I think he can bring. I think he could do it. You know, even Bonac, if he's 5% drier and brings it back in a little bit, I think he might have been 5 to 7 pounds too heavier this year.
Yeah, he peaked at the Arnold last year when he won, didn't he? That was, for me, that was the perfect version of Bonac.
Yeah, he doesn't need to be bigger.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to be bigger at all. He needs to be just dried out, as tight as he can be, and he can win. You know, nobody's heard yet if Phil has committed to not doing it, or I love a good comeback story. I'd love to see Phil heal and come back and win. and he's got a very youthful physique, so he could do it.
Do you think Kai will come back?
I wish.
Really?
He would. Yeah.
Still?
I mean, it's
You said
exciting.
really?
Really? Sorry.
No.
I'm a bodybuilding fan. I want to see the best against the best.
Yeah.
And,
Do you think Kai can still bring it though?
Sure.
Please.
Yeah, have you seen pictures of him lately?
I know he's still holding a huge. That's why I think, is he just teasing us? Is he just going to do it? And because the excuse he always gave, well, you know, they're never going to give it to me over Phil, so what's the point? So he just kind of went and did his Arnold Classic 3 years ago. And now it's like, now that reason's not there, now that Phil obviously potentially isn't going to come back and they've given the Olympia to somebody else, will Kai now come back?
Well, even if Phil does or doesn't do it, you know, Phil's shown a kink in his armor. And it is shown that they're not just going to give him the show. So why not? If Kai comes in at his best, and he should, I think he should 100%. It's a no-lose situation. It's not gonna lose anything from it. It's not like he's on location shooting a big budget film somewhere.
No.
You know, he's very busy. He works hard. He does what he does. But I'm sure he can take a few months to focus on the Olympia and come and do it. And the place would be bananas.
Yeah,
I would go 100%.
Okay, I mean, I've said this on the forums. I've said, you know, especially when you're retired, it's like I hope, because even before you announced your retirement, you were doing little bits of show coverage. You were popping up. You were still active on the boards. And I said, I really hope. I forget where I said this. I think on maybe Must News Weekly show, that I hope you stay involved and kind of find a new role in the industry, because I think your insight to, like you've been speaking about certain athletes like Kai Green and all these different, you know, you have a very good insight to the bodybuilding scene. What moving forward, have you got any ideas? I know you've got your channel, but are you going to have any are you going to get more involved in the industry outside of competing?
Yeah, 100%. You know,
good.
I've been, you know, I competed for 26 years, so I know everybody. I know the history of everybody. I know how most of them train. You know, I have connections with people. I can make a phone call or a text message and be in touch with just about anybody in a matter of minutes. And so I can get a lot of insight that way. So my opinion isn't usually just based off what I see. That's why I have a different insight than most people, is because I do have relationships with a lot of these people. Yeah. And I know the history of them. I can say, oh, well, back in 2009 when I was competing with Flex, this happened. And, you know, we're having dinner. He told me this, and this makes sense. So, yeah, I will be involved. I will be coming to a lot of the shows. I've working out a deal with, do you know Mandis from Max Muscle Report? They're at every show.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, he wants me to come and cover the show with him.
Fantastic.
So I'll be at the Arnold. I'll be doing a lot of interviews with people, and the breakdown of the show. I'll do play-by-play. I love doing play-by-play.
I've seen you good. You're very good.
You know, because it allows me to focus on the show. Yeah. And I can kind of sit there and not have to talk to people. I have to really focus on each individual competitor and break them down. And I really enjoy doing it.
Are you doing that at the Arnold?
Yes.
Oh, right, because I'm there for MD, so I was hoping you'd maybe come and join us on the wrap-up.
But it's very important now that we see all these new classes coming, that the legends, the people who we open bodybuilding, 212 is something that we as fans, like, that's what we want to see. The other things is great to make money, but this is what we want to see. So it's very important that the legends like yourself are involved, but more than just contest reports. Like, try to become part of the IFBB Pro League in some way and keep the legacy.
Yeah, we need good people.
Because it's important not just to do YouTube shows, and because that's not part of the clique. But you got to be, you know what I mean? So, because this is important now that we don't lose the legacy now, you know? Yeah.
Well, I've said it many times. I would love to be an IFBB judge.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Good judge. Fantastic.
That'd be great.
Judge.
At the Olympia table where competitors can be like, that dude's been here, he's done that. He did it for a long time. He sacrificed for 10 years. He knows what I'm going through. And he would never, you know, I wouldn't say that any of the judges are screwing people, but, you know, I sure would be a lot more comfortable looking down on the judges table and seeing Flex Wheeler judging me or a Jay Cutler judging me, as opposed to a space I don't recognize. You know, people that have
Great
never.
idea.
Thing is, Jose, you're not just even when you've been competing. You're first. I think you're even before compete. You're a big fan of the sport.
Exactly. That I'm a fan first.
Yeah.
You know, so I would love to this year or eventually, if they would incorporate one well-known pro at every judging table.
2 well-known pros.
Big show. You know, because I think that the fans would appreciate it, and I think and I think they should have to do an interview after the show explaining what they saw and what their opinion was. You know, so everybody gets it and everybody knows. You know, this is what I saw. This is why I made that call. This is why I made that decision. And hopefully it makes sense to you, and hopefully, you know, you appreciate where we're coming from as judges.
So do you think mainly for accountability and so the athletes can improve and not have to chase the judges or whatever feedback? And do you think that's the reason?
Yeah, for sure. I would do my own show every Monday. Cool. You know, like Monday Morning Quarterback. Come in, you can call me, you can text me, email me your questions, and I'll go over it, exactly what I saw and why I made that decision.
Brilliant. That sounds good.
They should do that.
That's too much wishful thinking. This is not. Jose, this is not going to happen. I'm not. Well,
we don't know.
If I keep talking about it and I keep telling people about it, and maybe if I do it myself and I keep pushing, you know, call Mannion and see if there's a panel that I can get on, and I'll tell them, I'll say, listen, you can put it on your site. You can put it on NPC News. I don't have to gain from it. I will do it, and I will explain everything that I saw. I will be the scapegoat. If you want to hate me for it, fine. But I'm going to give it to you the way I see it.
Jose, I've got a viewer question for you. Not from Flex. Flex hasn't come through yet. He's still driving. He said, when I'm stopped driving, he said, me and Guy Sisternino are going to send over questions for Jose. But he's not looked at the message yet. So I've got no blue ticks.
No.
I'll tell you what I bet it's going to be. Ready?
Okay.
He's going to ask me, what the hell's a cold cut?
A cold cut?
Yeah. He called me yesterday, and I'm like, dude, I'm in line ordering cold cuts. He's like, what the fuck's a cold cut? A cold cut is like ham, salami, turkey to make sandwiches.
Oh, of course, cold cuts. Yeah, cold cut. I thought it was something else, maybe a clothing range or something. A supplement company. Okay, yes, this is from F. Kazal, a.k.a. The Dictator.
Okay.
It says, we heard about the difficulties you had growing up as a kid. How did you overcome this, and what can you remember or learnt from those days that you still applied to your career in bodybuilding?
Well, how did I get through it? I had a great older brother. My brother Tito was always there. He's 6 years older than me, so he kind of took it upon himself to be my my caregiver, where he didn't let me suffer more than I had to, you know.
Sorry, is Tito your biological brother?
Yeah.
Right,
yeah.
okay.
We were both adopted by the same family.
Right,
and,
okay.
You know, he grew up much faster than he should have, so he took it upon himself to always talk to me and you know, be like, we're never going through this. You know, when we get older, we're never living like this. Don't worry about it. Just get through today, and we're going to be better for it. And we were better for it. And, you know, the way to apply that to my bodybuilding career was that, you know, when you're younger, you're not sure where your next meal is coming from. So dieting was never an issue for me. I could go hours without food anytime. And, you know, the fact that I'm eating 5-6 meals a day and people have the balls to complain about that, like, come on. I mean, there were days where you get one, if you're lucky, you know? So I was able to apply my dieting strategies to that and make it simple, you know? And the fact that when I was a kid and I used exercise and weight training as a way to a stress relief. I just moved that forward into my adult life, and training was my favorite part of the day. To
like therapy for you, therapy.
Right, exactly. It was very therapeutic, and it made me better. And some people, and a lot of people, a lot of your best people, then maybe they don't talk about it, but I guarantee you, if you had a good talk with Kai Green, he would have a lot of stories to tell you how his upbringing made him the champion he is today.
Right.
Even if Flex Lewis, he didn't grow up rich. He didn't grow up. He grew up fighting and scratching and turned himself into a businessman. And Wales is not Beverly Hills.
Well, I left as soon as I could.
When did you get adopted? How old were you?
I was 10 years old.
Because you were adopted from Mexico. Was it from America? It was from... Aren't you... Because you're Spanish, aren't you? From Mexico, aren't you, originally? Isn't it?
I'm Puerto Rican.
Puerto Rican, yeah.
Puerto Rican.
Yeah, but I was born in Boston.
Oh, okay.
And the rest of my siblings were born in Chicago. And so we were back and forth. We lived in Chicago for some time. And I lived in a lot of foster homes throughout the Boston area. Until I was finally adopted. They found a family that would take both me and my brother. And we settled there when I was in 4th grade. My brother was a freshman in high school, and we stayed there forever after that.
Was it a happy upbringing?
What's that?
Was it a happy upbringing in that household?
At times. I'll just say I was blessed. I was very blessed to be able to live not only with my brother, but I grew up in the suburbs in a beautiful town, a very affluent area with other very successful families and, that ended up eventually taking me under their wing and looking after me. And, the only part that was difficult was you're talking when I was fostered, late 70s, early 80s, we were the only brown kids in town. In the summer, my skin was dark chocolate. I had curly, kinky hair.
I remember your long hair and your long curly hair back in the 90s.
Yeah. And, people had a lot of balls and would call me a spick. And that would be the last time. That's, spick, wetback, all this shit. And I would just knock people out. I didn't care who it was. I didn't care if they were 5 years older, 10 years older. I would just smack people. And then I was getting into a lot of trouble.
Do you speak Spanish?
The weight training.
Oh. Do you speak Spanish at all?
No. I was adopted or fostered young enough that I never needed to. Like I said, I ended up growing up in a really affluent white Italian and Irish neighborhood where nobody spoke Spanish.
It's so good that you and your brother weren't split up.
Right, exactly.
So very lucky in that respect. A lot of families do.
Been significantly different had that happen.
Yeah. Okay, well that's interesting. I've got a funny story actually. Do you remember at the? I like to throw in the personal stories. Do you remember at the Arnold Classic 2011, the Jason Deere after party, and you were and me at the bar? And we started talking about Flex Lewis. And you said, hey, Giles, he said, do you know that, he says, have you ever thought that actually Flex Lewis sounds like a pirate?
Speaks like a pirate?
Yeah, you said that. He says, he sounds like a pirate.
Speaks Jamaican, bro.
And then, he's not Jamaican. And then you started doing an impression of Flex Lewis. And then a few seconds in, you got a tap on the shoulder. And you turned around and it was Flex Lewis.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? I remember that. I think maybe he had a few too many shots.
Oh, yeah. Now, whenever he leaves me a message, he's like, hey, mi hearty.
We said that because he was in episode 2 of Global Muscle Radio, and we mentioned that, and he finished off with his little thing. And
he speaks much clearer now. I had an hour-long conversation with him. I used to just text him. I'm like, I can't.
Please don't send his voicemails.
Yeah, but now I can understand him. He speaks a lot clearer, and it's... you ever speak to Aunt Bales?
Yes, yeah, he's a very good friend of mine.
He's even worse because he mumbles.
Oh, I've interviewed him for MD before, and I said, look, we started doing an interview in his gym, Max Muscle Gym, And I stopped. I said, "Stop! Let's restart this."
That's the shirt, by the way.
Max Muscle Gym, yeah,
Yeah.
for Ant Bales.
Mac Muscle Gym, baby.
And,
Yeah.
I said, the American viewers, most of these people who are watching this American, they're not going to be able to understand you. Speak slower, speak clearer. And I think the interview took twice as long, but it was really, yeah.
Why is it, Ant, that every sentence ends with a question with him? They say, "Oh, you're a crazy little fucker, aren't you?"
No, that's Irish. That's Irish.
Aren't you?
That's fucking Irish, mate. Chris likes that.
Sounds Irish to me.
No, dear, to be sure. Hello, hello. No, he's from Newcastle. He's a Geordie.
He says, he'll say, "Aren't you?" Or he'll say, "Flex is a big one, isn't he?"
That's still Irish. Sorry. Well, he
Sounds Irish to me.
Jose, AJ thinks Welsh people sound Jamaican.
Yeah.
I think they do too.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, they do. They do.
Come on, guys.
They do.
Yeah. Come on,
And they
guys.
sound Irish.
And also another very quick little story. Do you remember Photo Jesus?
Photo Jesus. Oh yeah, my wife remembers that one.
What is this?
Oh God, yes.
Flipped out on me.
Yeah, you were doing we were doing some blue shots together, and there's a photographer, a very, very good photographer called Christopher Bailey.
Yeah.
And he's kind of got long hair and, very sort of beard and stuff. And Jose just posed at Ant Bales' show, and he was doing a few shots. It was me and Rosie were sat together, and Michaela. And he said he just decided to call Chris Bailey Photo Jesus. Hey, Photo Jesus.
He's like 6'4".
Yeah.
He wears open show like Birkenstock sandals.
No.
He's got a Jesus beard and long hair. He looks just like Jesus.
So that's a red rag to a bull to Jose, really.
Yeah. I love Chris Bailey. Let me tell you, he came to our wedding and did our the photos.
Oh wow! Oh, he's one. I think he's probably one of the fastest rising photographers in the world right now. He's so much in demand. Where I think Anth was one of the first ones to introduce him to the industry. And he's really, really took off now, and his work is as good as Per Bernal's or Kevin Horton's or any of those photographers. So that's great.
Sure. And you know what's unique is his look. You can tell a Chris Bailey photo out of a lineup.
That's a good photographer.
And I like that because he's got his own unique style, and he's awesome. He's got a great eye, and he's just an amazing guy too.
Okay, AJ,
awesome.
Yeah. Sorry, AJ's any questions you want to finish off with when we before we let Jose go?
It's been an honor talking to you finally, Jose. I wish this is not the end, but it's the beginning of recovery. Getting you a kid, getting some kids in the Jose Raymond household, and I really want to, because the sport is very important. Guys like you stay in it, and the judging idea you had. I hope it's just not a talk we have now. I hope it really comes to, because that will be something so good for the sport, to have you and other legends to critique what's going on. I'm not saying it's bad now. The judging is good in most places, but to have the people that's been at the Olympia competing,
that's credibility.
Those are the people who should judge the people who are at the Olympia competing.
I agree with you.
So I really wish to see that, and good luck with your recovery, and I hope to see you soon.
Thanks so much, brother. I will update you guys.
Thank you.
Please do.
Keep everyone in the loop. I got a lot of exciting things coming up that I haven't spoken about yet because it's just about to happen. I don't like talking about it, but keep tuned in, and I will definitely have some good stuff to talk about soon. I appreciate you having me on. Say hello to my wife.
Hey, Michaela, come on, get in the picture. Come on.
Come say hi.
Hello. Hey, Michaela.
That was quick.
That was very quick.
Yeah.
Hello.
There she is.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
Two of my favorite people.
Yeah.
She's always in the background going, hey, wrap it up.
Come on, gotta take the dog for a walk.
Yeah. That's right. You noticed the channel was Mrs. Boston, Mass.
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah.
Mrs. Boston. I saw that. I thought they saw the, yeah. Okay, then, Jose. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for the time. We really appreciate this. It's been fantastic. And we will be. I'll probably see you in the Hilton in 6 weeks, 7 weeks at the Arnold Classic.
I'll save a spot for you at the bar. I'll buy you a drink.
Blue shots.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay, Jose. Thank you so much, and we'll see you soon, mate.
Right,
Bye.
guys.
Cheers, buddy.
Bye.
Bye. Oh,
Good guy.
oh, sorry. Let me just minimize. I always forget this. Sorry, such a rookie. Oh, and this one. Yeah.
Good guy.
Yeah.
Chris?
What do you think?
Good guy. You like his personality?
Yeah, we like Jose.
With the Welsh, what's accent? Was it Irish accent? You like that one?
No.
Hell yeah.
Sure. I thought you were going to start river dancing.
The judging thing, how epic would that be?
Yeah.
Can you imagine you seen Jay Cutler and Jose Raymond and Flex Wheeler judging?
But I mean, sometimes there's this argument before saying that pro bodybuilders would make the best judges, and not necessarily. But someone like Jose, he's not just a bodybuilder that's retired that wants to do something else. He's someone, like he said in the interview, that he's a fan. He's a fan. He knows the sport inside out. I've seen his play-by-plays. I've seen his show coverage. I'd say he's almost as good as me. Don't worry. No, he's very, very good. He's very good. He's very experienced, and like I said, when you've been around that long, I mean, it's like you said, the insights. He preps people, he trains people, he coaches people, and
he's an asset, definitely, for IFBB Pro League.
I mean, I didn't bring it up actually in the interview, but I really, really, I wanted to give him some props. In fact, I'll do it now. At the press conference at the Olympia, I briefly touched on it about how when he had his moment with the mic. All the other guys were ripping into each other, and then Jose kind of got the mic and Flex Lewis as well, and they both gave really, really, really like admirable speeches. They talked about class and how to conduct yourself, and okay, this is my last one, but guys, the guys coming up, just have integrity, that was the word he used, class. Also,
Raymond, to finish it off, one of the greatest 212 guys ever did bodybuilding.
He was him, Dave Henry, Kevin English, and Flex Lewis in 2000, 2007, 2008.
Kevin English, Flex, Jose, Eduardo Correa, and Henry.
That was the pioneers. That was the original guys.
Mount Rushmore of 212. Oh, Sean Ray.
Yeah, the Mount Rushmore, yeah.
Because Sean Ray didn't compete. He competed in Open. So if you want to add him or no, I don't know.
Well, there's an argument for him being in the Open. So,
yeah.
But yes, so yeah, fantastic. I really enjoyed that one. That one.
Hope you did too.
Yeah, so okay, I hope you enjoyed that one too. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed episode 8 of MD Global Muscle Radio. Don't forget, please, to subscribe to the MD YouTube channel. Check us out if you want to check us out as an audio downloadable on iTunes, SoundCloud, Pandora, whatever the hell that is, Player FM. And we will see you with more guests for episode 9 of MD Global Muscle Radio. And AJ,
we are out. Yeah, buddy.
We are out.
MD Global Muscle Radio was brought to you by High-Tech Pharmaceuticals, produced by Chris Clark and Pump Media, directed by Giles Thomas. This has been a production of Advanced Research Media.